is so enjoyable to me. I'm crazy about it. I love competing at it. It's so, it's really, I really love it. I just want to compete, and I can be decent at it at times when I play a lot, but I love it. I love the fellowship of it. I love just playing the next shot and trying to put the last one behind you. And so,
do you have any good Jonesboro course stories with mosquitoes all over the place? Is that a legit thing with mosquitoes in Jonesboro?
There's a part of the season in Jonesboro, yes, that they are bad at night. It's not like it's terrible during the day. So you didn't experience a lot of that in the golf course, but the biggest mosquitoes we've ever experienced was in our time in Jonesboro, for sure.
Yep. We got like 2 minutes. Can we go rapid fire? Right?
Oh, we can save it. We'll see
you. Save it?
Yeah, I'll save it. We'll see you at.
You're gonna be at the Regions. We'll do it with you at the Regions.
Lord willing, I'll be there.
Yeah, Coach. Thank you very much for having us.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thank y'all for covering all.
Yeah, you got some incredible. I will ask you one real quick.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you ever heard the story about Bob Stoops and Nick Saban were in a bar in Youngstown, and they were talking like defensive strategy, and a dude came in and robbed the bar. This is a true story, and I'm just wondering because you've got crazy stories. We don't
now.
No, that's true.
I'm telling you, it's a true story.
Yeah. Neither one of them noticed it.
Yeah,
they had no idea.
They didn't even know what happened.
Nick's never told me that one.
Yeah, but ask him about it next time. But do you have any of these crazy stories like that?
I do. Noah Mazzoni. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, we know Coach.
Well, I had convinced myself that he was my ticket to the college game, to get in. I really thought, man, and he had taken a liking to me and was recruiting Briarcrest and was doing really well as the OC with Tuberville.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought he was going to be the next head coach at one of these schools, wherever, and I was going to be able to get. And so he tells me the AFCA convention is in New Orleans this given year, and hey, meet me down here at this particular establishment. I go into this place at, we're supposed to be there, I guess 7:00 or whatever the time was. Well, 9:00 comes and Noah Mazzoni's still not there. So obviously I was totally wrong about that. And during that time there was several other coaches that were in the establishment there, and they all got in a little trouble. Watching me trying to get out of that and run out the back doors. I called my wife and I said, Jill, I'm getting on the next plane and coming home. I'm not chasing this dream anymore because this was uncomfortable for me. Believe it or not, most people won't, but most of my life I've made decisions I was really, really proud of. But there's been a few that have.
We all make those bad decisions. You got to give us the unedited version of that story when we get off the air, because I know it's better.
I'll give you the 3 coaches' names.
All right, thank you, Coach. We appreciate it.
Good luck this year.
Thank you so much, guys.
Good to see you.
Thanks, every Shelley Kirk, everyone down here who's opened up the doors. Thank you guys for being with us. We're back with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you. God bless America.
Ready to swap from your current auto or RV loan provider and drop your interest rate? Now is your chance. With Legacy Credit Union's annual swap and drop promotion, you can swap your current loan and save with Legacy in minutes. Whether you're a member or a potential member, Legacy Credit Union is here to help you drive into savings. Go online to swapanddrop.com or visit one of their 9 locations to take advantage of this incredible offer. Limited time offer, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
So much to get to today on the show as we are back from Auburn. Again, thank you so much to everyone at Auburn, from Hugh Freeze to the athletic department, everybody who works in sports information down there. We had a blast yesterday down there touring their facilities and talking with Coach Freeze. It was really, really fun. We turn our attention back today to the trip to the Final Four for Alabama out in Phoenix. They left yesterday. We'll talk about that in a moment. We got another college football stadium that's reducing capacity again for the second time in my memory. We got some movement happening in college basketball, both players and possibly coaches, that you guys are already talking about in the chat room, and unbelievable television ratings we'll get to in a second. But let's first start with Alabama hitting the road, and they're in Phoenix today. They wake up in Phoenix at the Final Four. Still hard to believe. I was seeing pictures from my friends in the traveling party when they were arriving at the hotel yesterday, and the Final Four signs, and it was still just it was dream sequence like seeing the Alabama logo.
Have you been able to sleep? I know.
I'm sleeping fine.
Okay. I just thought you might be up dreaming about this. You leave tomorrow, Friday.
Friday morning right now is my scheduled departure time.
Yeah, Jim and Taylor out there with mybookie.ag on the trip. When they were showing it, gosh, I can't remember. I was watching something on TV, and they were showing the Final Four bracket. And I remember feeling the same thing about Auburn. It's just weird seeing that logo in the Final Four when you've never seen it there before.
Yeah, and again, we go through the SEC teams that got into this tournament. I don't know where you had to go to the way Bama was playing going into this tournament. Again, really good draw for Alabama, but I don't think anyone expected them to win 4 games.
Yeah, even like the NC State logo in there, they've won 2 national championships.
That's right.
They've been to, I would guess, 4 or 5 Final Fours. I don't know the exact number. I'd have to look it up, but that doesn't shock the senses to see an NC State logo in the Final Four. It shocked the senses when it was Auburn, and it shocked the senses when it's Alabama. And I hope we see it a lot more for both of them. I hope it's not a shock to the senses anymore.
I agree. So tell me, LT, you keep your eyes on this kind of thing. I assume you keep an eye on who the public is betting on in Las Vegas. Just to win the national championship, I don't know if you've seen any numbers or not in your research, but I would imagine UConn has the most money bet on them to win it all.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably right now, I haven't seen what the current odds are for them just to win 2 games.
I can pull that up.
I would say they're probably minus 280.
Yeah.
But do you think the money that's rolling in is on UConn to win it all?
I mean, UConn to win the game. I think money
to win the national championship, to win it all.
Probably. The way I would play it, though, I don't know how I would play this because I think the UConn-Purdue number is going to be a lot smaller than people think.
I've got at mybookie.ag right now, UConn is minus 190. Does that sound about right to you?
I mean, yeah, because as I said, I thought it might be more inflated than that, but I think UConn is probably only like a 4-point favorite over Purdue.
Purdue is plus 200, if that gives you any indication of what a point spread would be.
So for minus 190, how much money would I have to bet 190 to win 100?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so that's not, I get a little bit back.
Well, if you won't
risk
value
a little, but
you won't value Alabama's plus 1,600.
I mean, the way to look at it is you don't really want to lay the 11.5 with UConn right now. I wouldn't think. I think maybe the play is. Maybe it is plus the 190 or the minus 190 if you think they're going to win it all.
Yeah, you go money line at that point, right?
Probably, yeah.
That's the way to do it.
I mean, those are pretty stout odds. Plus 1,800, by the way, for NC State, if you really want to take the flyer.
But my point being, I don't think a lot of people are betting on Alabama to be national champions.
No, not to be national champions. Now, I do think a lot of people believe Alabama can hang in this game.
To cover.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people are betting money line on Alabama to win this game either.
No, I saw reseeding, and I don't know how you guys would reseed this tournament right now if you could seed the 4 the way they're playing right now. But Alabama would be 4th.
Ooh, I don't know.
Oh, I think so.
No, I don't. I mean, the way they're playing or who I think's a better team?
No,
I mean, how am I doing this?
I'm talking about the way they're playing. I mean, there is no doubt that Alabama for the entire year has been a better team than NC State. But UConn is playing the best. Yeah. Purdue is second. NC State is playing better than Bama.
Well, they don't have to play each other. See, so
maybe they do.
Maybe they do. But if they, what a Monday we'll have if they are.
I'm telling you.
But NC State and Alabama, if they played each other, obviously DJ Burns becomes a a factor inside. I don't know if Alabama can match up with, but
I think that game would be around the pick right now. Look, again, I think, start to finish, Alabama's been a much better team than NC State. I'm just talking about where they are right now, and that's the only thing. If you're seeding going into this weekend from last weekend, I think most people would have Alabama fourth.
Something that's hard to overlook for me in this discussion is that Alabama is on a 2-game win streak over teams from NC State's conference who I don't know how it turned out in the conference record with those, but I'm going to guess North Carolina and Clemson did pretty well against NC State. So that's hard for me to overlook when I'm having this discussion. Listen, common opponents you got to be really careful with, but those are 2 common opponents that Alabama has just played and beaten.
My Bookie brings you all of our coverage from Phoenix, and we look forward to that. MyBookie.ag, always promo code next round there to get the best benefit there. And there's still time to get a package if you want to go to the game, if you use our folks right there with totalsportstravel.com, they handled all of our travel needs. We're going to be out there Friday. They got us hotels and everything. You can still get a package there, totalsportstravel.com, and check out everything they have to offer there for you. The charter sold out that we're on. So
wow, really?
Yeah, so we appreciate all of you that jumped in on that. But there's other packages there for you. So see what's there for you. If you still want to go to this once in a lifetime, or at least first, let's do it this way, first in a lifetime as an Alabama fan.
That is once in a lifetime right now.
For some people, if you're up in your ages, it might be once in a lifetime.
Hey now.
Not you, Jim.
Hey now. Emily Grace McWhorter, while we were in Auburn yesterday, was in Tuscaloosa covering everything for us over there as the team had their final practices and news conference, and then they got on the jet and went west to Phoenix. And her best piece of video yesterday was this piece of video of Nate Oats.
Just want to say thanks for all your support. You guys have been great. Thank you. You guys have been great the whole season, so really appreciate you guys' support for our guys. We're excited. Hopefully healthy. Hope to see you guys all here Tuesday when we come back with another trophy. So, roll
back to Romulus High School. That's probably the last time he talked on a bullhorn, right?
You got to slip that in, though. Possibly another trophy on Tuesday.
That's the way you got to approach it.
That looked really good. EG over there in Tuscaloosa yesterday. So, house money, he says. They're going to play with house money.
It is house money. And I said this, I think it was Monday. Now that Alabama is there, I think Alabama fans are like, oh, my God, what has happened here? This is a crazy, crazy year. They're beyond excited, win or lose. Even if they end up getting beat by 30, I think Alabama fans will look back and say this was an incredible season. But I think moving forward is when Alabama fans will believe, okay, let's not only get there, let's win some of these.
Well, so we discussed this going into the Alabama-North Carolina game in the Sweet 16, that really all the pressure in that game was on North Carolina. They were the 1 seed in that region. They are the team that is expected to be in the Final Four anytime the tournament starts with them in it. All the pressure was on them. Alabama felt like a little house money there. I thought it changed against Clemson. Alabama was no longer playing with house money against Clemson. This was, you've only had 2 chances to make the Final Four. This was by far and away your best chance to make the Final Four. I don't think this was house money. I think it swaps back now against UConn. All the pressure's on UConn here. This is the team everybody thinks is by far and away the best team in the nation. They're the overall number 1 seed. They're going for back-to-back national champions. They are the team in this entire Final Four that should not be shaken or shocked by anything.
Yeah,
they should be well equipped to play in this situation.
I think over the last 20 years, there's 10 teams that are better than this UConn team.
Well, maybe so, but not in this tournament. There are.
No, you're right.
That's why all the pressure's on them.
So, and that's what I'm saying. I do agree. Alabama hits their shots. They got a shot in this game.
An observation from my buddy Connor O'Gara right after I tell you about our friends at NASCAR. He does a little hypothetical, a what if.
I like what ifs. We like hypotheticals.
Yeah, I do too.
Did we even give Hugh Freeze a hypothetical yesterday? I don't guess we did.
We ran out of time.
Yeah, we ran out of time.
We'll
I had a lot of stuff.
We'll do it next time. Don't worry.
Hold that list.
He's a storyteller, man.
He is.
Time just goes.
Good storyteller.
Really good.
We didn't really even talk football with him. Really.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it was really
what
interesting.
X's and O's question am I going to ask Hugh Freeze?
You can go see our Hugh Freeze interview wherever you get our podcasts, including on YouTube always. Go check out Hugh Freeze on the show yesterday. More on what John Cohen told us on the show and that everyone was reacting to later when we get into that. But back to Alabama in just a second. But I want to tell you about NASCAR coming to town.
April 19th, 20th, and 21st. It's the world's fastest speedway at Talladega, and we had a chance to tour it, look at it, and have fun out there just a few days ago. And you can be part of the crowd, the experience of race weekend by going to TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. We always tell you to look into upgrading your experience, not just a ticket, but how about a garage experience, right? Get a chance to be in the garage of your favorite driver to watch them work on the car, and you're only separated by about a waist-high fence. You're right in the garage. That's the part of the experience. You get there and great food and drink and access to everything there on the infield. Different upgrades throughout, camping upgrades and everything, and a concert on Saturday night, Walker Hazen concert. You get into that with your Geico 500 ticket. 2 races Saturday, the Geico 500 on Sunday, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com for tickets for that. Should be a lot of fun. Conor O'Gara, our buddy with Saturday Down South, asked this question in a column. What if Nate Oats is this generation's Billy Donovan?
Well, I mean, I think
I don't know how you can pose that question.
It's a bit of a premature question. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, it is.
So it's the ultimate hypothetical.
Yeah.
I mean, what if he is?
Well, I mean, after he wins back-to-backs, we'll talk about it. Yeah. Then I think we could make that argument.
Well, if we're going to go, though, at a purely hypothetical, what if he is?
What if he is?
No, what if he is? I'm asking you. It's not a rhetorical question. I'm asking you, what if he is?
Then it will be, this is the dawning of what will be a very special time in Alabama basketball history, right?
Yeah.
Because Billy Donovan left Gainesville for the NBA with his name on the court.
Okay, his first Final Four, I think, was...
I'm pulling it up, Lance.
I think it was in 2000. And it was, they played the Carolina team that came through Birmingham.
Yep, they were the runner-up.
And they were the runner-up to Michigan State.
The Flintstones? Was that the Flintstones?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their only one, right?
Yeah, Mateen Cleaves and Mo Peterson and those guys. And then I guess it was 6 years later where he wins his first national championship. But I think he only went to 3 Final Fours. Is that right?
That is only 3 Final Fours.
No, that isn't correct. He went to 4.
4.
Yeah, but he went to the Elite Eight 3 consecutive years before his last Final Four. So...
Well, Nate's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's why it's a hypothetical. But I'm trying to see. I mean, I just don't know how you would compare them right now because you know the finished product of Billy Donovan. Like when Billy Donovan was the national runner-up, I mean, actually Nate Oats got a better resume now than Billy Donovan had then. Billy Donovan had missed the tournament his first year, had been one and done in the NIT his second year, was a Sweet 16 team his third year, and was the runner-up his fourth year. I mean, Nate Oats has already been an overall #1 seed and made 2 additional Sweet 16 runs to this tournament.
Pretty close in age at this timeline
Probably
in their
at that
career.
point. I think Donovan might have been it's close.
Hey, but, all right, so you'll have to do the math.
What
Help
is
me out
Oats?
here.
47, 48?
Donovan was born in 65. Well, he's already 58. He always looks in his early 40s to
He's
be.
Billy the Kid.
He was born in 65 and took the Florida job,
So he'll be
Lance,
59 this year.
in 96. Born in 65, took the Florida job in 96.
Okay, so roughly took that 20 years ago, and so he was late 30s.
I think Nate is Brown's age or younger.
I think he's younger than me.
I think Nate's in his 40s, definitely.
Oh, he's in his 40s.
Yeah.
I just think it's
So
it's
Billy
early
was
40s.
younger when he took the job.
Yeah, Nate's 49, so he's a year ahead of me, actually. So,
49.
yeah, I mean, Billy Donovan's got a head start on him age-wise, but Nate's got a head start on him resume-wise.
Yeah. It's an interesting question. You can't. I mean, but what happens is, you get a lot of, what if this is the next Tom Brady?
Right.
What if this is the
next
next Michael
Nick Saban,
Jordan, the
yeah.
next Nick
No, I think
Saban?
it's easier to say, is Dan Hurley the next Mike Krzyzewski? That's much easier to say.
I would tend to agree with Lance on that. He's at a basketball powerhouse, and he has got them clicking.
And he is unlikable.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
He has found a place. We'll talk more about the Final Four as we continue on. You had one more thought
Well,
there?
I just wanted to point out, I mean, just for the record, it's going to take me a minute to pull this up, but I think Florida, before Billy Donovan had been there, only made the Lon Kruger Final Four. Am I right about that?
Oh, yeah.
I am right about that. Nope, I'm right about that.
Yeah.
1994 was their only other Final Four. So it's
Norm Sloan never did it?
Nope.
Okay.
They'd never made an Elite Eight until 94. In fact, they'd only made one Sweet 16 before 94. So before Donovan got there, it's not like they had an extensive basketball history. They had some players and Lon Kruger, and that was about it. Billy Donovan turned Florida into a national power out of a program that had never been that.
Yeah, just interesting from Conor O'Gara down at Saturday down south there. We'll hear from Nate Oats
in Grant Nelson, their departure news conference. And our coverage starts out there Friday, brought to you by our friends at mybookie.ag. Show being brought to you in part today by our friends at Edey.
Rockstar it is.
Ring the bell!
Trivia. Trivia.
Every Wednesday night, Odie's Team Trivia, the original location in Crestline. Get out, see us, get there a little early. We'll start around 8 o'clock. Me and Rocky and Will Haver get there and enjoy some great food from Rodney Davis award-winning wings, delicious burgers. They've got chili, corn dogs, grilled cheese, fantastic food for more than 30 years. Not only the location we'll be at tonight, remember about the sister location now in Edgewood, the corner of Oxmoor and Broadway. Ice-cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. Get in today. Go see Will Haver and that great staff. It's Odie's Tavern.
Okay, these numbers I'm about to talk about are from Yahoo and Sports TV News and Updates, doing a little research, compiling some numbers today. But the most viewed women's basketball game ever, 12.3 million people on ESPN the other night for Iowa and LSU. Just to put into context, before we just talk about, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I assume these numbers are real. I guess it would be, if you're a conspiracy theorist, it would be a reason why you'd want these numbers to be inflated.
So you're talking about the TV. I mean, ESPN is trumpeting these numbers.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It would be pretty bad for them to make numbers up.
Yeah, well,
easily.
There's a service you pay for, Nielsen and
yeah.
Arbitron.
Yeah.
That do
Yeah,
ratings.
I think it's going to be hard. I don't blame them for flying the flag on these numbers, but I think it's going to be hard to manufacture these numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
think these numbers are pretty legit.
They got to be real numbers.
12.3 million people watch that. Most viewed women's basketball game ever. But where the context comes from is Yahoo and the Sports TV News and Updates, because this is what I find interesting. It was the most watched. It was watched by more people than any other college football game last year, except for the 3 college football playoff games, the SEC championship, and Ohio State, Michigan. So more people watched that women's basketball game on ESPN the other night, other than 5 college football games.
Incredible.
If you want to say in context there, more people watched that women's basketball game than the deciding NBA Finals game. Any game in the NBA Finals, including the one that clinched the NBA Finals.
And those are 2 big brands. You're talking about Boston and Golden State.
Yeah.
More people watched that women's basketball game than any baseball game last year. Any baseball game last year, including the World Series,
right? Yeah.
Including the World Series. Those are amazing numbers. There's no way around that.
Yeah. I mean, without Caitlin Clark, those numbers cut in half.
What was
she's the draw in that game. I mean, this is a remarkable testament to the popularity of Caitlin Clark and how she's taken over.
And that's another reason that I believe. I mean, she can do what she wants. She's going to make a ton of money. She should come back to Iowa.
But she's taken over a lot of American sports. Yeah, a lot of American sports fans. Caitlin Clark is the reason they watch this game.
And then there's this, Brown. This blew me away. And this is from the Sports TV News and Updates. Fox was all in on college basketball this year. Main Fox.
Yeah.
They had primetime men's games.
That's right. Got good numbers on them, too. A lot of Big East stuff.
More people watched the women's basketball on Fox this year than watched the men's basketball when you put the numbers out.
Because they showed a lot of Caitlin Clark.
No, that's pretty, for the most part, what they showed.
Yeah, they showed Iowa.
But I mean, how many women's games did they show?
On average, 981 million people watched women's basketball games on Fox this year. 946 million on average watched the men's basketball games.
Now, the game Fox showed where she went for the Pete Maravich record actually got the same TV numbers the Duke, North Carolina. It was within a couple 100,000 people of the Duke, North Carolina season finale. And it beat the ESPN primetime NBA game that same day, which I think was Boston and Golden State again, if I remember correctly. It was name brands.
I don't think we'll see this again, though.
Yeah,
because we're not going to see another Caitlin Clark for a long time.
She's the draw.
But it's not just women's basketball. Your hot spice take of the day is it's all sports. 2023 college football most watched year ever. Our buddy Rece Davis helps that with College Game Day. He'll join us next.
I don't know if you know this, our population's going up too.
2023, the NFL, second most watched season ever, most watched Super Bowl ever, most watched telecast in television history except for the moon landing was the Super Bowl this year. TV sports numbers are through the roof. That's your Coca-Cola Spice hot take of the day. Coca-Cola Spice, great Coca-Cola classic flavor, spiced flavors added to that, and a little hint of, is it raspberry? It is raspberry.
It is.
Taste of summer. Get it at your local retailer. Rece Davis joins the show next. College game day football, college game day basketball. We'll talk about his school, his alma mater, Alabama, in the Final Four. And later, a former Nate Oats assistant on the show. Who is it, Brownie?
It is Bryan Hodgson.
Yeah, I can't
why am I saying it, Jim?
I struggle with his last name.
Bryan,
He's on the show at 10:25.
It's a tricky last name.
Hodgson. He's been with Nate Oats step by step until this year, so we'll get some insight from him.
I just call him Big Guy. Big Guy's on the show at 10:25.
What's up, fella?
The next round continues after this quick timeout, Rockstar.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst, at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com. Tournament time is almost here, but any time is a great time to jump on with MyBookie.ag. When you sign up at MyBookie.ag, use code NEXTROUND for a special sign-on bonus. You can use that bonus right away. Win once with it, it is yours and yours forever. Not like some of the sites that make you win 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before you keep the bonus. You win once at MyBookie.ag, it is yours forever. Basketball tournaments, NBA, the start of Major League Baseball, NASCAR, and golf. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations: Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
They closed the Tropicana in Vegas yesterday. I want LT's stories of the Tropicana back when he ran with the mob later, okay?
Tropicana a little before my time. You want to talk the Mirage? You want to talk Mandalay Bay? We can get to some of those.
When he ran with the mob. Rece Davis is with us, host of ESPN's College Game Day, Alabama native and alum. So we want to get his thoughts on the Final Four. Good morning, Reese. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. Thanks a lot. Reese with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. We were talking about Just every time you see the bracket pop up with Alabama's logo in it, I described it as a shock to the system. The same was true when Auburn was in it back in 2019. I mean, Reese, I'm 47. I'm now 48. I've lived in Alabama my entire life. It's just still a shock to the system for me.
I think what's happened over the years is there have been so many great players and great teams, both places. And Auburn, getting there in 2019, without a Chuck Person or a Charles Barkley. Alabama has had, Latrell Sprewell and Robert Ory and Brandon Miller, who's the most talented player they've ever had in my judgment, and Antonio McDyess and Derek McKee, and not making it. And I think that they're sometimes this thought permeates that maybe the tournament fate is just never going to smile on you, because there is a certain amount of that that's necessary even for the elite teams to not have things go wrong. And, to have a season like they've had, and of all of the great names that I mentioned, I think Mark Sears has had the greatest season by an Alabama basketball player ever. Now, I don't remember the Rocket 8, so maybe some old timer's going to say Jerry Harper had a better year. But, this guy, to me, deserves to have his jersey put in the rafters, have the number retired. Nobody else wears it anymore. He's the dude who got them over the hump. And, it's a remarkable thing. And it's sort of, there's something about this sport, because there's so much emphasis placed on the tournament. Careers are made and broken by whether you succeed or fail in this one-shot deal of a tournament. And there is a certain validation that comes along with making it. And with the amount of success that Alabama's had historically, and more specifically, the elevated success that they've had with Nate Oats, it's a validating moment for them to make the Final Four.
There was a split second when I thought Reese was about to say, now, Dunaway, you tell us about the Rocket 8. Yeah. He did not.
I did cover those in the old film days. Yeah.
Hey, so Jim, I wouldn't do that to you. I'm not. Jim's too close to my age. I think he could say, well, you were there too. Yeah. I don't want that.
Our hairlines are very different, though, which skews the perception.
Reese, I know Alabama wants to finish the deal. We talk about house money now with Alabama, and the good news is they're 19-1 when they score 89 or more. The bad news is you're going against a UConn team that's given up 53.5 points per game through 4 games. What gives? How does Alabama win this game?
The short answer to me, the only way they can win this game, I think, is if they hit. I don't know why I would draw an arbitrary number like this, but I think it's going to take 18 to 23s. And that seems like a ridiculous thing to say. But UConn's Donovan Clingan is just a defensive force in the middle. He's 7'2". Pete Thamel's working on a story on him, by the way, which Donovan Clingan, who's from Bristol, Connecticut, worked as a landscaper, and he was once the world's tallest snow shoveler. The guy would pick him up at 3 a.m. and he would go around and shovel snow, and he didn't even have a custom shovel, Pete tells me. So, that's tough on the L5. But since then, he stands up straight, and he's pretty much rejecting everything that comes. I thought the most remarkable stat from the Elite 8, second most remarkable. Anybody that goes on a 30-0 run like UConn did on Illinois, that's almost, I've never heard of that. But when Donovan Clingan was on the floor, Illinois was 5 of 38. When Donovan Clingan contested an Illinois shot, they were 0 for 19. 0 for 19. Now, first of all, he contested 19 shots, which is a pretty good number, and they didn't make a single one of them. So I said that to say I think Alabama's going to have to score from the perimeter. The fortunate thing for them is that's what they do. But I think it will have to come the way it did in the tournament. It's going to have to come from additional guys. It can't just be Sears. Griffin, Stevenson, even Nelson, if they get Reitzel back, and you guys may know more about that than I do, all of those things, I think it's really important. And this might be, I'm not trying to coach for Oats, but I wouldn't be surprised to see if Estrada, with that craftiness, gets a few twos. He's not going to get as many at the rim because of 32 sitting back there, but maybe some of that crafty, sparingly used mid-range game could help them too. But I think it's a very, no pun intended with Clingan, but I think it's a very tall order. But Alabama's played really well. They've got a lot of offensive weapons. So, nothing's impossible in this tournament.
The matchup against Hurley has given us a chance to make a comparison. Nate Oats and Jimbo Fisher, but in a positive way. We were talking this week about Jimbo Fisher was sort of a pseudo Bowden. He was part of the Bowden family, basically, because he grew up coaching with them. And that's sort of the way Nate Oats is to me with the Hurley family. I mean, Bobby Hurley gave him the chance to be an assistant in Buffalo, and then they've been so close and so tied. That's a pretty good dynamic there, Nate Oats and that Hurley family. And that's one of the hottest coaching names in basketball right now. At UConn, that is the start of what looks to be, LT compared it maybe to next Coach K level success there at UConn. Talk a little bit about how Nate maybe fits into the future of college basketball and the faces in the game a little bit.
He's one of the brightest stars in the game, Jim. He's a brilliant guy, as you guys know. He's fearless, and he empowers his players, which is pretty remarkable. He's a tough guy, and he's tough on them. So is Danny. Danny Hurley's tough in a much different way. And, Danny's quirky and eccentric and superstitious and, won't change the underwear and takes, if there are any red or crimson M&Ms in the M&M jar, he'll take them all out before the game. I've told this story a couple of times. Last year, we were going to have, we had invited his dad to come on the night before the championship game. And he was planning to come and visit with us on the pregame show. And we got a call a little bit later on that said the family just can't see it happening because we haven't done this all year and we're not changing a thing. So there are superstitions. Danny gets into sensory deprivation tanks. He plans for an hour. Sometimes there are rumors that the assistant coaches try to set the timer for 2 hours just to give themselves a break a little bit. But he's a great coach. And I think he's the face of college basketball right now, but I think that the success that Nate has had and the high regard with which he's held in the basketball community makes him potentially one of those guys as well.
ESPN's Rece Davis on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Leading up to the Alabama-Georgia SEC championship game, I kept saying, I don't know how this is going to play out, but there is a reason teams don't win 3 consecutive national championships. There is a bunch of history and a bunch of good teams that have tried it. And it just turned out it didn't work out for Georgia. I can't exactly say the same thing, but it's not like we have back-to-back national champions in basketball an awful lot, Reese. It's been since the Billy Donovan Florida teams that have done that. I don't know that plays into this, but can you put your finger on why it is so hard to go back-to-back in college basketball?
I think there are a couple of reasons for it. It's only happened twice since the tournament expanded to at least 64. Yeah. Meaning Duke did it in 91, 92, and then the Florida teams that you referenced. I think that there are a couple of reasons. One, because it's such a one-shot deal. The best team doesn't always win this tournament. In fact, more often than not, you could argue the best team doesn't win this tournament. So, there's, history and tournament lore is littered with those massive upsets, whether it's NC State over Houston or Villanova over Georgetown, all of those, over the course of time. And the NC State Houston was even before 64. So I think there's that. There's the one and done aspect of it that makes it difficult. But I think that now it's even more difficult because of the worrying turnstiles, both on your roster and on your coaching staff. This UConn team is not the same UConn team from last year. Their primary scorers are gone. Cam Spencer came from Rutgers. There are guys who have stepped from being a role player into starring roles. So the correct way, in my judgment, to approach it is that you're starting the climb of the mountain differently every year. So to borrow from the old Seinfeld bit, the same laundry has a chance to win the championship again with UConn laundry, but the same team is not the same team. It's the same coach and the same laundry, but not the same team. And I think that's one of the reasons, and UConn's embraced that pretty much all year. And it's one of the reasons they've only lost 3 games. But I think it also speaks to the enormous difficulty. The one thing we haven't seen from UConn yet is, are they going to fall victim to human nature, or at least be challenged by human nature if they get in a close game? Now, they haven't had one of those. I've never seen a team have a 30-point lead in every tournament game. I don't recall that ever happening. They've had a 30-point lead in every game they've played in this tournament. And dating to last year, they won every tournament game by double figures. Hurley joked last week and said, well, we suck at close games, so the alternative is just to, not play close games. And, but if they play a close game, does that human nature that you're talking about come into play? Oh my gosh, this is slipping away from us. I've got to make a play. And then you do something out of character. I suspect they can handle it, but it is something that hasn't, no one's forced them to do up to this point.
Are you a little surprised, though, even going into the tournament, everybody was like, more than half the brackets had UConn winning this. I know they've won 25 of their last 26, but when you look back over the last 10, 15, 20 years in this tournament, I mean, could you say there's 5 or 10 teams that are maybe better than this UConn team?
But this year?
Yeah.
No, 5 historically.
I'm talking about historically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about if you go back over the last 20 years of tournaments, do you think you can make an argument? Baylor and Gonzaga a couple of years ago when they played for a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these Duke teams, Kentucky teams.
I wouldn't go so far as to say they were definitively better. I would say that this UConn team is on par with all of those great teams that you mentioned, whether they won the championship or didn't win the championship. In the case of the Gonzaga team that lost to Baylor, I think UConn stacks up well with any of them. Look, man, they've blown out 2 power conference opponents in this tournament, despite the fact that they shot poorly from 3 and 2 of the games, didn't shoot well from behind the arc against Illinois and shot poorly against Northwestern. They've got so many different ways to beat you that I would put them on par with some of those great teams that you're talking about over the last 20, 25 years. I think this is an elite team. There are those around who believe that this team might be better than last year's team. That's probably arguable and debatable, but, both teams were really good.
Since we brought up the fact that we're in the under 8 timeout of my life, if I've got 3 seconds to...
Let's hope not. Joe. At least be the under 12.
Yeah, exactly,
I hope you're at least in the under 12.
He's praying for overtime, Reese. He needs overtime.
But I promise you, if I've got 3 seconds to live, I hope God officiates me like the college officials officiate Zach Edey. They're letting the guy camp out.
I was going to say, all you got to do is go in the lane. That'll buy you some extra time, right?
They're letting that guy camp out, man. If they let him camp out, it's going to be tough for DJ down in the paint in that other semifinal game.
It will be, but it's going to be tough no matter what, because they've shed some of that tournament baggage that they had going into this about having lost to a 16, a 15, and a 13 in their 3 previous eliminations. Now, if they lose to NC State, they'll add an 11 to the list, but I think it's a little bit different when it happens in the Final Four. So I think it's going to be difficult under any circumstance. If not for UConn, Purdue certainly would be the prohibitive favorite to win the whole thing. I thought Tennessee was going to win that game and go to the Final Four. It was a great game, and Purdue won. But Purdue is a much improved team. Braden Smith is a legit guard. They've added a couple of pieces on the wings, and then they've got the force that no one else has in Zach Edey. And while it is true that he's difficult to officiate, it is true. I saw the video of him being in the lane for 9 seconds or whatever it was. We shouldn't use that to diminish what he is. He's a great big man. He is a great player with great touch and highly competitive spirit. He's a force at the rim defensively. He's a great player. So, all of this stuff, I think when you get a giant guy like that no one else has or very few have or have had historically, it's easy to start, say, well, he's 7'4". He ought to do that. No, he's skilled at 7'4". Got a nice touch around the rim, and it'll be fun to watch. He and DJ. The Purdue band, as you guys know, has what they call the world's largest drum, the world's biggest drum. I think to prepare for DJ Burns, who often catches the ball in the short corner or the shot corner, as my friend Jim Calhoun would say, and then he starts banging his way, down into the post to get closer. I think that to prepare for Burns, maybe they should bring the Purdue drum in and just run it into Edey over and over again. And then on the flip side, then Kevin Keese maybe could bring in like a 12-foot tall stone statue, right? They're not that Zach's a statue, but he's immovable. like that and just have DJ sort of bang into it over and over again, see if he can make it budge.
The Stanford tree. Just bring in the Stanford tree. You got the Stanford tree and the big drum.
I think the Stanford tree would wilt.
Yes.
You know, I mean, he would just, I don't know. The Stanford tree would just.
Rece Davis, you'll see him on ESPN and Game Day. We always appreciate the time, Reese. Great catching up with you.
All right, guys. See you later. Have a great day.
And just so you don't think I'm being dark, I do expect the end of my life to take as long as the final 2 minutes of a college basketball game. A lot of reviews, I hope. A lot of reviews. See you, buddy.
Let's hope so, man.
Thank you, Reese. Reese with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I want to remind everyone about the golf card that is out right now, the Next Round golf card. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $99. You get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, the Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. This is all presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. That, if you just add it up, is a $247 value. We are giving you the card for $99. That's the kind of savings you get. You can get a deluxe card for just $119. All 4 courses with card, plus exclusive Next Round golf T-shirt, the koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are 0 restrictions on this, and it is good through October 2024, but there are limited supplies, so get your golf cart now at nextround.store. That is nextround.store. Great gift idea, by the way, for the Next Round golf card. That golfer in your life can use it all summer.
Folks over there are talking about the ability of Zach Edey and his size and everything. James is one of those saying if he was that great, he'd be a first-round guy.
Oh, I don't know what his NBA future is. It's a different game.
Yeah, it's a different game.
Yeah.
It is, but I mean, he's still that big body, and he's got a little more athleticism and some soft hands that people don't give him the credit for. If he would have been a lottery guy last year, he would have come out. It's a different NBA game. We've talked about this. I mean, if this is 20 years ago, he is maybe the number 1 overall pick. Or, because it's so different, I think he's got more of a role in the NBA, but he'll get drafted this year.
If you could shoot 30% from beyond the arc, like even 30%, he's probably the overall number 1 draft pick.
Brooks Lopez. That's a guy that I don't think he shot a 3 in his first 10 years in the league, and he's shooting 33% behind the arc now.
And people forget, I think, how Shaquille O'Neal ran the floor early in his career when he came out of LSU. The guy, if he wanted to, could have been the point on the fast break.
Yeah, we've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, I mean, so big men can still have a role in the NBA playing the way Zach plays. Sometimes people think it clogs it up, it slows it down, and some organizations don't want to do that.
Well, in his entire career at Purdue, he's attempted 2 3-pointers. I mean, this guy has played a ton of games, and he's attempted 2 3-pointers.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, LeBron and Redick have a podcast now.
JJ Redick?
Yeah. I saw that got put together.
And I think they've only done 3 episodes, but they were talking about it this morning on Sirius XM. And the thing that popped out to them, LeBron James in the last episode said that first year in Miami, that they made it to the finals, but I think they lost to San Antonio. I knew it was San Antonio, or was at Dallas, but it was San Antonio. So Spoelstra, where did he go in the offseason to sort of learn how to use the talent he had in a new offensive scheme? He spent time that summer with Chip Kelly at Oregon to learn his football offense, spreading it out and spacing and everything, and brought it back and adapted the offense that they ran in Miami. That's what LeBron said on this podcast.
That's pretty cool.
Now, quickly, the guys on Sirius XM, Danny and Dusty, pointed out that LeBron loves Ohio State football so much, Ohio State athletics, that they wonder if this was really true or if he was just trying to pump up Chip Kelly, who's now the Ohio State offensive coordinator.
Weird story to invent.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a moment in time where everybody was like, Chip Kelly's offense is so innovative.
Yeah,
it's just weird how
we used to say, though, that it looked like basketball on grass.
Yeah, but it's weird how the spacing would even translate. I mean, that's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I will say this, Eric Spoelstra is maybe the most underrated NBA coach in history.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's a top 10 guy.
Yeah, I mean, underrated, though, because of the path he took. Just the video guy and just the guy that managed LeBron and just this. But, hey, the guy has just continued to win. That's who he is.
Yeah, it's really an interesting story that Chip Kelly maybe helped the Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra win some basketball games down there. All right, show being brought to you by our friends at Gutter Cap. And we'll continue the conversation and hear from Grant Nelson coming up in the next segment. Next live guest with us is a guy who helped build Alabama's roster. Bryan Hodgson joins us at 10:25. Tell us about gutter.
Big third down here for the Bengals in Super Bowl 56.
I noticed we had the Rams.
Basketball has its madness in March, but homeowners who clean their gutters have it all year long. Eliminate that gutter cleaning forever with our friends at Gutter Cap. Call my good friend Chris Stewart, 205-823-2212. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau for 2 decades, on the board of directors as well. Gutter Cap patent aluminum cover system. It fits over most existing gutter. Eliminate that dangerous job of getting on a ladder and cleaning out your gutters. 45% off the retail price right now. 205-823-2212. GutterCapBirmingham.com. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
And I wasn't kidding. The Tropicana closed yesterday, opened in 1957. Frank Costello managed it early on, and according to multiple reports, I believe it was always believed he had a tie to organized crime.
Well, if you've seen the movie Casino, the Tropicana is very, very prevalent in the movie The Casino, and the building of the mob and what Vegas was then to what it is now.
And that was the place that Frank Sinatra frequented. And a lot, like Elizabeth Taylor was there. I've seen photos.
Joe Namath, I think, had his show there, right? Wasn't Joe Namath? Joe Namath was on a show there.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just getting confused with my Casino.
Yeah. You mean like his sit-down sports show that aired on national television?
Ace Rothenstein, the character that Robert De Niro portrayed, who was the mobster that was running for the Kansas City mob, running the Tropicana, he's the one that had the show that had Joe Namath on the show.
Which one did Mo Green on?
Mo Green.
You buy me out, I buy you out.
Yeah, Mo Green got
he got a bullet in the eye.
He did not get a happy ending, did he?
He did not. Bad misogyny for him.
Yeah, I don't remember which casino that was. But that is, I mean, look, those old casinos, I brought up Circus jokingly yesterday during our show.
That is old.
They can't hang with what they got.
But the Trop is where they're putting the baseball stadium, right? That's why it closed. I think that's the land where they're building the baseball stadium.
I think so. Even though Oakland, the Athletics are still talking to the city of
it's
Oakland
not even a
and
done deal
Sacramento.
yet.
Yeah. I would say this. I wish they would do what we do with stadiums sometimes. Let's just remodel, gut it, build a whole new one, but keep the name. I mean, I hate,
iconic.
I hate we're not going to have the name Tropicana out there anymore.
Well, just call the stadium the Tropicana.
I guess for a younger generation, it's just not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
I guess not. All right, we roll on. The show being brought to you by the fine folks at the University of Montevallo, historic location right in central Alabama. You may not know this, but right in outside one dorm, main dormitory, is the exact center geographically of the state of Alabama. There's a star there. You can take your picture right there at the center of the state of Alabama. A lot of other great things on that campus as well. It's where I went to school. You can apply now by going to montevallo.edu. Montevallo.edu. Schedule an in-person visit. Find out more about all the great things at Montevallo, including 23 NCAA Division II fully funded scholarship sports. It's a growing university. It's got a lot to offer, including a new nursing school coming soon. Check it out online. Montevallo.edu. Montevallo.edu.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Cool Ray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst, at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
Get ready to level up your fandom with the Autograph app. Co-founded by the legendary Tom Brady himself, this app is your one-stop shop for everything college sports. Access to all the best sports content, exciting fan challenges, and exclusive rewards. Think crazy discounts on tickets, limited edition merch, and much more. Just look at this. Autograph hooked up 6 lucky fans with tickets to the Arkansas-Alabama game for just $16 a ticket. That's what they call true fan pricing. Ready to join the party? Download the free Autograph app today and use the code TNR for exclusive access.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
More of Alabama and Phoenix getting ready for the Final Four. If you have not really, if you've been under a rock, the games happening this weekend, 5 o'clock Central Time, 5:09 technically. Purdue and NC State, followed by UConn and Alabama. Sometimes after 8, they expected to tip around the 8 to 8:20 neighborhood. All that happening Saturday out there. Our coverage brought to you by MyBookie starts on Friday from out there. Taylor Corn and I will be out there. Taylor Corn and me. Me and Taylor Corn. Yeah.
Little T.
Who's going?
It could be Taylor Corn and somebody will be out there covering the event for us there. By the way, 10 John Wooden All-Americans. Only 2 of the 10 are in the Final Four. And that's Edey and Tristan Newton from UConn. The other 8 didn't make the Final Four. If you want to know how hard it is getting to the Final Four.
It's impossible.
8 of the best players in the country, not there.
I mean,
yeah,
it's crazy.
And Klingon, and you heard Reese talk about him, he's playing like an All-American right now.
He really is. He really is. The show being brought to you today by our friends at NASCAR. There's a sandwich place that is freaky fast. That's how you describe Talladega in the NASCAR circles. Freaky fast, the world's fastest speedway. Great eyesight in the 2.66 mile track there, the largest track. The high banks there, 33-degree high banks make it the fastest track. But it's also the most fun. You have the garage experience right there. Big Bill's Garage gets you closer to the garage experience than anywhere else in NASCAR. And just people watching, camping all week long, concert on Saturday night, 2 races on Saturday during the day, the concert Saturday night, and the Geico 500 on Sunday. Get your tickets, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, or go to 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Boy, Grant Nelson had the game of his life to knock out number 1 seed North Carolina. Now they're even a bigger underdog against UConn in the semifinals. Grant Nelson talked about that before he got on a plane to Phoenix yesterday.
I mean, I think we've been underdogs a lot of the year, and people have really doubted us, especially going into into March Madness. So I mean, it kind of gives us extra motivation to go out there and try to prove people wrong. And yeah, I mean, it just gives us motivation. You know, it gives us another thing to work for.
Yeah, chip on the shoulder was a factor, and when they beat North Carolina, it was the first thing that Estrada said to me when I put the mic in front of him. He said, 93% of the people bet against us in this game. So somebody's feeding information to these guys.
Kirby Smart
Smart-esque.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I didn't think it was shocking they beat North Carolina. Now you're getting to the territory where you start to pull these upsets, and obviously it's next level upsets. Because you guys just on the fly, you believe UConn and Purdue are going to be playing Monday night,
I do believe that, yeah. I do believe that.
That's just the way it looks. So Alabama was to win this game, then all bets are off.
You've
already seen Purdue earlier this year. They played with Purdue.
Can I make a random prediction? This is one of those predictions where even if I miss it, nobody's gonna. I don't think people are gonna.
They might put it on a hype video if you say something about Bama.
It's good for Alabama. So use this on the hype video when Alabama wins. If Alabama, so we've had. Let me give a good clean read for the Alabama social media people here. Against North Carolina, Alabama had the Grant Nelson game. Against Clemson, Alabama had the Jaron Stevenson game. If Alabama beats UConn, write this down in Sharpie. It's going to be the Sam Walters game.
Yeah, now we are getting into shocking territory.
Well, I mean,
I think Sam's going to be a really good player.
If I had told you Grant Nelson had, 20 and 12 against North Carolina, you wouldn't have believed me. If I had told you Jaron Stevenson hit 5 threes against Clemson.
Again, we're talking, and Clemson's good defensively, but we're talking about a different defense when you're talking about UConn. And for Sam Walters, who is so young, and you saw him up, but he looks like he's 15.
No, he looks like a kid.
Well, can it be the Ryland Griffin game?
Could be, but I'm making the prediction here. I think it's going to be the Sam Walters. If Alabama wins. I'm not saying Walters is going to have if Alabama wins.
And I was thinking about that. It could be the Latrell Wrightsell game if he plays. Would you guys rather have a different guy just pop up and have that game or have a DJ Burns? Where you know where the offense is going. I mean, DJ Horn's been good, but DJ Burns is what has made that machine work.
NC State had DJ Burns all year, and they shouldn't have been in the NCAA tournament. I mean, they had to go on a remarkable run.
It's like they woke him up.
Semifinal of the ACC tournament, they basically hit a bank shot at the buzzer to go to overtime against Virginia.
Are they not even here?
They're not even here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But again, if you're an NC State fan, you're like, where in the hell has this been?
Oh, no, I agree completely.
But if you're an Alabama fan, you're like, where's this effort been all year?
No, but even with the lack of effort, you're still a 4 seed, right?
You're right.
I mean, it's a different deal.
Nicholas on Latrell Wrightsell, he is back working evaluation today after practicing yesterday, and as you know, as you come back from concussion, they'll work you back into working out, and then the evaluation the next day on how you're handling that is always so important. So that's an important day for the trainers who travel with Alabama on where Wrightsell is, but. Nate Oats continues to say the plan is hopefully he plays on Saturday, but it'll be a game-time decision, just like it has been since he left the game.
Were you guys a little surprised when Reese said, I was asking, what does Alabama have to do? We know they've got to hit their perimeter shots. When he started creeping up on the number of 20?
Well, listen, 18 was the number that Alabama made against Purdue in a loss because –
yeah, but how many did Purdue can offset that with their three-point shooting.
Yeah.
Not only do they have a legitimate 7-4 guy, they hit a ton of threes.
So you're asking me how many Purdue made?
Yeah,
also
so I'm
in
just
that
saying
game?
that might get a little negated.
Could.
I just don't think you're going to see UConn, if Alabama goes out and hits 16 to 18 threes, you're not going to see UConn hit 12, 14 threes.
From Bleacher Report right now, UConn is shooting 28% from three in this tournament. During the year, they shot 36%. In this tournament, Alabama's shooting 41% from three. During the year, they also shot 36%. So slightly down for UConn, slightly up for Alabama from range at this point.
Alabama made 19 of 46 against Purdue. 46 is just a ton of threes to be taken, but I mean, they made
staying away from Edey.
They made 19. Edey scored 35, and that was the problem there. But Alabama led that game, I think, under a minute to go, or it was tight under a minute to go, maybe tied.
How many threes did Purdue have?
Well, 8. That's what, 8 of 18. Okay. Yeah, Alabama made 19, Purdue made 8. I mean, if you gave that number to Alabama and UConn,
you take it.
You take it in a heartbeat. 19 and 8.
I think Alabama probably wins the game with 19 threes.
Developing news from Adam Schefter in the NFL. Right after Brownie tells us about our friends at JohnstonRVCenter.com.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. They have repriced every single thing on the lot, and they are on both lots, and they're so confident in their pricing. They are going to give you a nationwide guarantee that they will beat any price nationwide. All you have to do is bring them the price of a comparable RV, and they will beat it. That is nationwide. Also, those of you who have served in the United States military, we love you on this show. You've made the United States the greatest nation in the world. No questions asked about it. And Johnston RV, they feel the same about you, so they give you a great discount. Uniform or retired military, just ask more. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Adam Schefter and Pete Thamel. The Bills are finalizing a trade to send 4-time Pro Bowler wide receiver Stefon Diggs to
I've seen it, but this would not be my
Kansas
first guess.
City.
Nope. I've seen it.
The Houston Texans.
This is
for draft pick compensation. That's it. Sources telling
Hey,
ESPN.
good for C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, as Schefter points out, C.J. Stroud is now throwing to Nico Collins, who had a phenomenal season, and Stefon Diggs.
Yep.
And Tank Dell, who
Tank
was a
Dell,
rookie that got,
I mean, that guy, you talk about a guy that can get behind everybody. You know, Diggs, not necessarily that player still can stretch defenses, but Tank Dell next level with those guys, man, that's a big pickup for the Texans.
And remember, they got running back Joe Mixon now, who is very good with the Bengals, serviceable. And
watching him at Super Bowl 56 right now, carrying the ball, very timely.
Dalton Schultz, the tight end. On
Former
that
Cowboy,
roster.
yeah.
So
boy.
Pretty good roster that D'Amico Ryans is building down.
You know what
with the Houston
happens, though,
Texans.
in the AFC South every year, whoever plays well the year before doesn't play well the next year. Titans were a 1 seed a couple of years ago, didn't do anything.
Fired their coach.
Jacksonville was coming off a playoff win last year, didn't do anything.
Yeah, boy, it's going to be hard with that roster not to do anything. Tears me up to see the Bills have to trade guys off, Jim. Tears me up.
Yeah, I bet it does. We're into hour 2, a little college football news coming up, but obviously a lot more basketball as its Final Four week in Alabama is out there. We'll keep that rolling, including Bryan Hodgson coming up here at 10:25. The show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. LT, tell us about all the heating and the cooling and the plumbing needs we have with Hemp Hill.
Yeah, trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, hour number 2 now. We roll into that LTD&B. Rockstar, Forrester, Tyler Lunsford, all behind the big glass back there. Tim is getting ready for the meltdown, which is 2 o'clock later on today. EG is fresh back from Tuscaloosa yesterday. She's out in the social media area with Taylor Korn, who's handling everything there at Next Round Live, and everyone else up here at Disrupt the Media. Glad to have you along today on this wonderful April Wednesday, as though it's still basketball season in the state of Alabama, which is absolutely crazy. We'll talk more basketball coming up this hour, of course, with Alabama out in Phoenix, getting ready for the Final Four coming up. All of our coverage being brought to you by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag out there. Brownie, give us a line update and tell us how you can get involved with MyBookie.
Yeah, mybookie.ag, code next round is how you get involved, because when you use code next round, you get that deposit bonus that they'll give you when you sign up. You win once with it. It is yours and yours forever there at mybookie.ag. I'm just going to refresh. I noticed we had some movement in the North Carolina State-Purdue game. Now, this is minor movement in the North Carolina State-Purdue game. But it is down to 9. The last time I checked, it's been at 9.5.
Been
so
at
down
9.5, yeah.
down about half a point there.
I mean, look, that's I made the mistake of backing Duke this past weekend against NC State. Seems like a lot of points against NC State the way they're playing. But if you watch NC State for the entire year, it's not a good basketball team.
UConn at 12. UConn still favored 12, a total of 160.5 in that UConn-Alabama game. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag.
If you want to do this, or if you are in the area and want to do this, Coleman Coliseum is going to host an NCAA Final Four watch party. It is free there. Fans will have the opportunity to watch Alabama men's basketball make its first appearance in the Final Four this Saturday. 7 o'clock doors open. Tips scheduled for 7:49 Central Time.
You think CBS will have the camera there? There's a look inside Coleman Coliseum.
Maybe. Parking available. Admission is free. You have to enter through the north or east entrance. Metal detectors, clear bag policy in effect. No outside food or beverages allowed inside. Concession stands will be open. Merchandise, Final Four merchandise will be on sale on the concourse. There'll be a DJ there during pregame timeouts and stuff, and they'll have sponsor activities planned throughout the game, almost like you're at the game yourself. They're in Coleman Coliseum. Again, doors at 7, tip at scheduled for 7:49. I think it'll go closer to 8, a little after 8. You'll get time to get in your seat there, but that is free if you want to experience it with some other Alabama fans. Right there,
Yeah.
Alabama just sending that out.
If you're a Bama fan, I mean, there's worse places to watch. I mean, can you imagine if you would have said, a couple of years ago, that you could sit in Coleman and watch Alabama possibly play their way into playing for a national championship?
Yeah, I think, you enjoy it around other fans.
Yep.
Nice and dark, so you're going to be able to see the screen well.
If you weren't going, would you be interested in that?
I would do it if Taylor told me I needed to go do it for the company. Other than that, I would enjoy my house.
Okay.
But if Taylor said, hey, for the social media, I need you to get your butt up off your couch and get on down to Tuscaloosa, then sometimes she's the boss of me, and I would do that in a heartbeat and go get some content, as she likes to call it.
What content queen.
Yeah, that's what you guys call her,
Yeah.
the content queen there. She intimidates me a lot, so I would definitely.
What
get
happened
off
with
the
that?
couch and
Like,
do
I
it.
saw some kind of text thread earlier, and I don't even know what was going on with content. Like, somebody got pit. I know there were people that got a little touchy yesterday. Did it take another step?
Again, it's the old, using content without credit, and then people who are the biggest to freak out about that want to criticize us for just pointing out that it was our content. That's what it was.
Our friends at Way to Wellness bringing you the show as well, as we jump back into a little football news here before LT gives us 4 downs. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Way to Wellness, a chance to jumpstart your weight loss, or maybe you get the opportunity to control your blood pressure or cholesterol as you get older. It starts with a free consultation. It's not always a group free consultation. That's just us down there, right? It is absolutely an individual thing. You can go through this and find out about Way to Wellness on your own. Get all the details you need about that free consultation and how you can sign up by going to their website at planforme.com, planforme.com. There's no contracts, no sign-up fees, and as I said, that first consultation is free. Check it out. Leslie and her board-certified team can help you do whatever you need to do physically in 2024. Weight loss or control some other dynamics there in your life through your diet. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. That website again, planforme.com. All right, I find this interesting. Memphis has extended Ryan Silverfield a 5-year extension. 10-3 last year. He's got to replace Mike Norvell. It's $2.45 million annually. It breaks out to. They do get Seth Hennigan back this year. They'll be one of the favorites, if not the favorites, in the American. That is UAB's conference. But it does feel to me like Memphis, for a while, was kicking along up here. And it does feel like since Norvell left, they've been sort of down here again.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's been the full-time coach. He's going into year 5. He's only had double-digit wins one time. Now, I say that. We remember back in the Tommy West days and the Joe Lee Dunn days, Memphis was bad football.
I forgot about
But
Joe
since
Lee Dunn
those
in there.
days, you know, with guys like Justin Fuente, this has been a program that's kind of like Houston. You expect them to win 9 or 10 games at least every other year. So I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, Memphis football to me is just it's kind of blah.
Yeah, it's just never, even when they were good under Fuente, it's just never done it for me. Memphis, I don't like the stadium. I don't like
the uniforms are awful.
I don't like the uniforms.
They had a couple of really monumental games one season. Was it against UCF?
Well, they had and I don't know why I cannot say his name, the running back that played so well in the NFL.
D'Angelo Williams.
Yeah, D'Angelo Williams. So they had a minute there where D'Angelo Williams was
But they were still like 8-win teams then. Yeah, you're talking about when, you know, the epic battles in the American, those were teams that were high-scoring, fun games to watch.
Right.
But this Silverfield guy, Dunaway, 8-3, 6-6, 7-6, 10-3. I mean, and 17-15 in conference. He's barely 500 in conference.
That's what I'm saying. This feels like they've fallen off a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's had one good year there. Like, I expect, maybe my expectations land too high in Memphis. I expect better than 6-6 and 7-6 out of that program, don't you?
I do.
And he's done that one year, but I don't think anybody's beating down Memphis' door to hire Ryan Silverfield, are they?
I don't think so either. 2 more things football before we get to 4 downs, Rockstar. For the second time in my lifetime, Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta. We've always wanted to do a show from there.
Rockstar, we got to do it.
Is reducing.
You have to.
Is reducing its capacity because it used to be in the high 60s, I believe, and they redid one end zone, modernized it. Well, now they're taking out section 218, 219, and part of 217. A new football building is being built in right outside the stadium, and it's going to take away those parts of the stadium. So it's going down from 55,000 to 51,913. So the ever-shrinking Bobby Dodd Stadium. I don't think this will be uncommon in the future.
No, I think you gave the TV numbers earlier. TV numbers are up for college football, and I think that, to a certain extent, Lance, that's come at the expense of in-stadium audience. I don't know what the attendance numbers are, but as the TV numbers grow, I think your attendance numbers are going to slightly drop too.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like we talked to John Cohen yesterday, the Auburn athletic director, and he was talking about, a waiting list for boxes, and the ever evolving what they want to do with their north end zone. It would not surprise me at some point if they lose capacity at Jordan-Hare Stadium in that end zone to put up some kind of field suites and other suites and a new video board and stuff, and maybe Jordan-Hare goes down. But I don't think they'll be adding capacity to any stadiums. No. And we've always heard maybe at some point Bryant Denny drops under 100,000 again as they try to rework some fan experiences in that stadium.
I think your major conference stadium expansions are over. Like, I think the only thing you'll see now is more luxury seating.
I agree. Adam Rittenberg, before the 4 downs, this stat here. 2 teams last year, the last 2 seasons, these 2 teams had 27 games played, and they each scored 1,123 points. Same number of games, same number of points. Those numbers lead major college football. And they're going to the same conference now. Oregon and USC are on their way to the Big Ten. 27 games, 1,123 points. Same game, same point total, and they're going to the Big Ten. If you think maybe the Big Ten's about to change, Oregon's got a better roster right now, but Oregon and USC is going to make offensively a lot of the Big Ten look differently.
I would take the under on that point total for both of them in the Big
2
Ten.
years?
Yeah, for both of them in the Big Ten is what I'm saying. I think that point total will be under. Not necessarily because...
I mean, you say that.
I do, but not necessarily because teams are going to defend them better. But I think in the Big Ten, they're going to be playing more teams that shrink the game than they played in the Pac-12.
Doesn't affect Ohio State.
That's a great point. That was an excellent counterpoint by Lance Taylor there, Jim.
That's why I said, the way most of the Big Ten plays. I do think Big Ten defensive numbers get skewed a little bit because there are so many horrific offenses, not just Iowa, in the Big Ten.
No, I would agree with that.
You're right. I agree. Let's do 4 downs. I imagine a little basketball in 4 downs as well.
Maybe, Dunaway. I don't know. I told you it's kind of a weird 4 downs. Slice. We're going to be out at one of the Slice locations next week. We'll give you more information on that. Again, 5 great locations. The original in Lakeview, 1 in Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, and now Edgewood right there on the corner of Oxmoor and Broadway. From the Soul Pie, the Wing and a Prayer, the Bajaya Special. You're going to absolutely love it. Get in, see the Bajaya Brothers. Tell them the next round sent you.
First down.
Okay, who will we have more conversations about in 5 years? Caitlin Clark or Bo Nix?
Bo Nix is going to be in the NFL. Now, I don't know if he could be in the NFL for 5 years, but even a backup quarterback in the NFL is talked about more than a star for the WNBA. So I would say Bo Nix.
I don't disagree with that, but at the same time, like anytime we reference women's basketball, how many times is Caitlin Clark going to be brought back into the conversation?
She's about to be the Mia Hamm of the next 10 years.
Yeah, Mia Hamm was more on a, I guess, national stage because they seem like bigger games being international competition.
Yep.
I just don't know how big a WNBA game is.
Yeah. Here's what you will see. Caitlin Clark will be the 3-point competition against an NBA player at next year's NBA All-Star game.
Yep.
Caitlin Clark will, maybe one day host This Week in Baseball if they still do that. She will pop
the
up
Twib
everywhere.
Notes?
Yeah, she'll be everywhere.
I mean, it won't even be close. If Bo Nix,
She going to be Scooby-Doo as well, Joe?
At some point, she'll try out for an NBA team.
I think the number in Vegas is 4.5 on quarterbacks to go in the first round. Most people are thinking 5 to 6 quarterbacks go in the first round, including Bo Nix, and I've seen him as high as number 12. If Bo Nix is a starting quarterback in this league, it won't even be close.
That's not even a question. Then.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm asking you guys, do you believe Bo Nix in 5 years will be a starting quarterback?
I don't know, but I would say even as a backup on this show, it'll be more Bo Nix than Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's an amazing player. I'm just saying WNBA, she's going to be less viewed than she is right now.
I think Bo gets a shot at some point to be the starter.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, he'll get a shot.
Yeah.
Second down.
Weird. April 3rd, National Film Score Day. Think about films where the score throughout the film maybe was your favorite or ones that really stood out to you.
Interstellar, immediately.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you're a Trent Reznor guy, and I love David Fincher. He's probably my favorite director. I've said that before. And their collaborations together, like Seven, I thought was fantastic. The Social Network, I thought was like an 88 to 90, but because of the score, I put it like a 95. I thought it was incredible. And then The Shining.
So when you say the score, it's not like the soundtrack; it's different, right?
Like the background music, not Journey, but it's like almost the instrumental stuff, like Superman theme song, Indiana Jones. That's
Jaws.
Okay, like Star Wars, the score, Rocky.
Yeah. Anytime you had a water scene in Jaws, you heard dun.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I was going to go, there were some 90s movies that had a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
I didn't know we had a National Film Score Day.
I did not know that.
That's how bad the celebrity birthdays were, by the way.
I am going to go with Pirates of the Caribbean. I just thought it was a good tune. Hans Zimmer. It's kind of got a flair for stuff like that.
I will go Fletch. No, not Fletch. What is it? With,
never thought Fletch would come.
Was it 40? It was it's
Oh, here we go.
It's
describe it, Jim. Just describe the movie.
Beverly Hills
Cop.
Cop. Yeah, with
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
How bad do you suck at charades?
Horrible.
All right, 2 words.
Horrible.
And I could see Maggie just on the way home from game night. You son of a bitch.
Fletch wasn't a terrible answer.
Yeah, it wasn't.
He's got I can't remember what it was.
Third down.
Oh, let's see here. Louis Gossett Jr. passed away. I didn't know this until a conversation last night. He passed away March 29th. I guess I was out. I was just away from social media.
I do remember him dying.
And I thought he was a really, really good actor. Didn't have a lot of great roles. But if I asked you, do you guys have a favorite Louis Gossett Jr. role?
Enemy Mine.
I
Used
watched.
to scare the hell out of me as a kid.
Yeah, so Enemy Mine was when he played in Alien, and Dennis Quaid was, I guess, from Earth, and they ended up being on the same planet and growing up together. I guess they ended up having a kid together, didn't they?
He was asexual. He's his own kid.
Okay,
I
He was like a
liked
worm.
it. I liked it when he teamed up with that pilot's son, and they go into Russia.
Iron Eagle.
Iron Eagle was the one I was going to say.
And get him back.
I mean, Officer and a Gentleman, he won a Best Supporting Actor role. Scott Glenn was supposed to get that role. That was fantastic. Diggstown, if you've never seen it, it's a really good grifter movie.
But I
with
liked
James
Iron
Woods.
Eagle as a kid, so I'd go with Dunaway. That's a little throwback for me.
4th down.
I had to give him a shout out because I didn't know he died.
I think you were. It was last week, March 29th.
Yeah.
Last week.
And finally, Rockstar pulled the graphic. If Art Briles and Kim Mulkey had a baby, who would it be?
Do you have an answer?
I don't.
Okay.
That looks more like the David Stratham actor on the right than Art Briles.
If Art Briles and Kim Mulkey
I'm just
had
talking
a
about
baby.
personality. Like, who is a coach that is young and hated right now? Could it be Dan Hurley?
Dan Hurley a little bit. If Art Briles and Kim Mulkey had a
You
baby,
guys think Dan Hurley is young?
well, younger than these two.
Yeah.
If Art Briles and Kim Mulkey had a baby, the baby would be born 75 years old with a belt in their hand,
Yeah.
ready just to tan your hide.
I think if those two had a baby, it would be Amy Schumer.
Oh,
Wow.
way too funny.
Wow.
Are you thinking based on looks? She's more Amy Poehler. I don't know what he's about.
Well, I have to blend in him too. That's how I get Amy Schumer.
Yeah, interesting.
He's got Amy Schumer eyes, which is one of my favorite '80s songs.
They're both.
She's
they're
got
both
Amy
kind-
Schumer eyes.
Both kind of thin for Amy Schumer, right?
Well, you're always the opposite than your parents. If your parents are strict, you become the funny person. If
Okay.
your parents are skinny,
That's
you become
true.
the
Should
the
be a
chunky
rebel.
person.
Is that like Preacher's Daughter?
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
what
their
you're
kids would be a rebel, man. They're too much discipline at the
That
house.
is 4 Downs brought to you by our friends at Slice. Get them for lunch or dinner today. We'll talk to Bryan Hodgson's coming up. Show being brought to you by Storm Restoration Roofing. You can put up the picture, Forrester. Want to see some of the work, happy customers, that big black truck, the Black Beauty, that Greg Nelson rides around town with that logo right there. Storm Restoration Roofing, the free, no-cost roof inspection you get with him. Greg Nelson's the guy on the right. He's up by the engine because he makes that company go, but he has a son and son-in-law and a whole bunch of people working for him. It's locally owned. He and his wife own the company. Insurance companies trust him. If you've got a roof issue, whether you have an old roof that's aging out, whether you have storm damage, and it's that time of year we got storm problems, or if you just want a free no-cost roof inspection to see what's going on up there, you call that number, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. Greg works with a lot of folks on our show here, both us and also our viewers, and they will stand by the work that Greg does. Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531, or look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken. If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Coolray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst, at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
As we told you last hour, big trade in the NFL. Stefon Diggs, according to Adam Schefter, is on his way to the Texans. As former Alabama linebacker DeMeco Ryans, now the coach of the Texans, led him to the playoffs in his first year, continues to improve that roster. But truthfully, it seems like the rest of the sports world doesn't matter right now because Alabama's in the Final Four.
But I think our next guest is a big Bills fan.
Wow, you know what? I did not realize this. As a lifelong Dolphins fan, I've always liked Bryan Hodgson, and I guess I'll have to look past the fact he's got two pieces of Bills memorabilia in the background.
That was poor timing by me. That was almost like that was intentional.
Yes. How are you, Coach?
I'm good, fellas. I'm good. I'm not sure how I feel about this this Diggs trade this morning, but outside of that, things are good.
So growing up in New York, before we get into basketball, did you do you remember the Super Bowls? I know you were like 3, 4, 5 years old. I don't know when you started watching sports, but we actually had
another unintentional shot.
I mean, guys, this is not what I was told I was going to be talking about. I mean, bring up the
but we did have a random Marv Levy reference yesterday. We were interviewing.
It was Hugh Freeze because he lost 4 straight high school football championship games. We said that's the Marv Levy of football.
So anyway, do you remember those Super Bowls at all?
I do, and Marv Levy's still a legend in my eyes, and. You know, I'm a diehard Bills fan. I hope we can get back there soon. I think we've got the quarterback to do it. I'm not thrilled about losing Diggs, but you know, hopefully we can overcome this issue with the Chiefs here sometime in the near future.
All right, so let's talk about what you came on here to talk about, and that is college basketball. Of course, Coach Hodgson was with Nate Oats for a very long time, helped build this Alabama team, so we wanted to pick his brain on this national championship game. I will just start. We had Petway on Monday, and I'll kind of start by asking you the same question. When you first hooked up with Nate Oats back in those Buffalo days, did you look at him and say, that's a guy one day I think can lead a team to a Final Four?
Yeah, truthfully, I did. I didn't know it when he hired me, but it didn't take more than, about 48 to 72 hours on the job with him. I don't know anybody that works harder, pays more attention to detail, and is more driven than Nate Oats. I was talking to somebody the other day and they were talking about, well, man, he's finally got that Final Four. He can relax a little bit. That if that's the mentality, you don't know Nate very well, because he's just going to take this thing one step further. So I'm thrilled and excited for him and the program for them to get there. I think this is one of the best coaching jobs he's done since he's been at Alabama. With what they lost, obviously, last year, the entire staff changeover, first round exit in the SEC tournament, and then to get this group refocused and into the Final Four is an unbelievable accomplishment.
So Rece Davis was on just about an hour ago, and he was talking about Mark Sears and the year he's having, and his banner should be hung in Coleman. And I think we all agree. You were very, very active in the recruitment of him, and a guy coming from the MAC. When you first saw Mark Sears, did you believe he could turn into this type of player?
I'd be lying if I said yes. I knew Mark was a really, really good player. But I mean, we're talking about a guy now that holds the single season scoring record at the University of Alabama. I would have never imagined that. Mark can flat out score the basketball, and he's a worker. So as I got to coach him, some of those things started to open my eyes a little bit more. He obviously scored it really well last year on a really talented team, and then this year kind of put him on their back. And but no, coming out of the MAC, it's hard to anticipate really what's going to translate. And I thought one of the best comparisons I've heard lately is Jalen Brunson. He's doing Jalen Brunson type stuff right now. And obviously Jalen Brunson's been very successful. So I couldn't be more proud of what Mark's done this year. And he's etched his name in history. And that's something that's going to be a tough record to break as far as points scored in a single season. He's had some huge games. I feel like, even some games where they've struggled, I look up and Mark's, closing in on 30 points.
I'm interested, before we continue to talk about Alabama, when I saw you in Nashville, we were up there to support Coach. You and Jordan and the new little baby. How's fatherhood going so far? You sleeping in it at all?
Yeah, it's been good. Jordan's been a saint. She takes care of most of the nightly duties, but he's I'm gonna have to get a hold of the Alabama football staff probably, because he's he's on his way. He's like 17 pounds already at 10 weeks old.
10 weeks and 17 pounds.
Yeah, all he does is eat. But it's been a blessing. It's been best thing I've ever experienced. He's traveled all over. He got to go to the SEC tournament. He came to the Sun Belt tournament. So he's taken in quite a bit of basketball already.
Just as a heads up, Alabama's changed football coaches since you were there. So if you're going to contact them, you're going to need a new number.
Yeah. I think there's still some familiar faces over in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you probably should get Puritan to work into your contract a little incentive there, so you can feed the baby there. Keep that cupboard full there with Puritan, right?
Yeah, I'm going to call Freddie Roach. I see he got a title change and a raise. And I think my boy might have a chance to play for Freddie. So I'll see if we can start an NIL deal right now.
Go ahead, Donovan.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, we were talking about Donovan Clingan, and Rece Davis also brought up a stat that Illinois was 0-19 from the floor when he contested shots. This Alabama team obviously loves to attack from the outside in, but what is the best way to maybe get this guy in foul trouble?
So the great thing about Coach is, and it's the biggest misconception about his offense. Obviously, he's the best offensive mind in college basketball, and you could argue. I mean, Danny Hurley's right there with him. Obviously at UConn, they're phenomenal. Greg McDermott at Creighton, but Coach is. There's this misconception that his game plan's the same from game to game, and they're going to jack up threes. And no, he puts so much time into each individual game and changes things, based on stats like that. And so my guess, the thing that Alabama has that a lot of teams don't is they can space the floor with Grant Nelson. They can space the floor, with Jaren Stevenson. And so really, if you can get Clingan to step away from the rim and have to guard one of those guys on the perimeter, it'd be to your advantage. Take the rim protection away. Now, obviously, you're going to give a little bit up on the defensive end if you're doing that, because UConn's a hard team to send a double team. They've got 4 shooters around one of the best post players in the country. So it'll be interesting to see what Coach does. But I know he'll have a great game plan, and I have zero doubt that they're going to score the basketball on Saturday.
I'm interested, when you look at Alabama and what they've done in these 4 games in the NCAA tournament, how they're different from when you scouted them when Arkansas State played them, when you saw them in Nashville, the one and done, and now the success they're having in the tournament. What changed from those 3 viewing opportunities from you?
Yeah, so I thought when we played them, extremely, obviously talent's there. They can score with anybody. I felt like they didn't have an identity yet. With all the new faces, I think guys were still trying to adjust to roles. You've got a backcourt and Mark Sears and Aaron Estrada and Latrell Wright. So everybody's trying to kind of see still where they fit in. And to Coach Oats' credit, a lot of other teams at the Power 5 level, they make those adjustments by playing low major Division I bye games. And so they can sort things out a little easier. Coach doesn't do that. I mean, he every year, non-conference strength of schedule's one of the top in the country. So it's a little harder to sort those things out early when you're playing, Creighton and Arizona and Clemson, and the list goes on. And so I think it took them a little bit longer to find their identity. And again, that in the SEC tournament, I thought that they, with some of the injuries and bumps in the road that they took, they lost it for a little bit. I felt like that first round game in Nashville, they never really dictated the way that they wanted the game to be played. And Coach and I talked about it after the game. And, I knew I had the utmost confidence that they were going to be motivated and ready to go by the time the NCAA tournament hit. And you never want to lose in the SEC tournament. But I would say there's a silver lining in the sense that it refocused the group. And so I think, if you've watched them play the last several games in the NCAA tournament, you see a team with an identity. You see a team with, every guy's role has really been defined. And I think top to bottom, their roster's done a phenomenal job in their role. You look at Rylan Griffin nailing 4 threes the other day. I mean, that's huge. Take some pressure off Mark Sears. Nick Pringle, obviously up and down this year, has been phenomenal in the NCAA tournament. You go back to the non-con, even when we played him, Mohamed Diabate didn't have an identity or a role. Now he's an integral part of what they're doing. He's been phenomenal here down the stretch. And so I think they're playing their best basketball, which as a coach, you want to play your best basketball in March and April.
Arkansas State head coach Bryan Hodgson with us for a few more moments. We've talked about the extensive history with the Hurley family that Coach Oats had. How much will familiarity between those two play into this, do you think? Do you think it's one of those where he knows how Dan Hurley's thinking every time and Dan Hurley knows how Nate Oats is thinking every time?
I don't think anybody in America knows how either one of those guys are thinking.
That's a great point.
Unless they hooked them up to some sort of machine. Those two dudes are wired. I've had the pleasure of being around Danny quite a bit as well, and obviously what he's doing is phenomenal. They've got a unbelievable friendship, but they're also two of the most competitive dudes in this industry. So my guess is there's not much communication between those two this week, even though they've probably been talking on a weekly basis up until now. But you're going to see a competitive battle by two close friends, and it's going to make for one heck of a basketball game.
I know you're still a big piece of part of this team. If Alabama pulls the upset on Saturday, what is the cocktail of choice for you?
I'm a bourbon guy.
Nice answer.
Guy. Yeah, what's that?
It's a nice answer. We're doing a little bourbon podcast after the show today.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I've got some here. I've got some gifts that we've gotten throughout the course of the season.
Ooh.
I keep on the desk. This is the Masters Collection Woodford. My drink of choice, my favorite bottle. I don't know if you can see it up top underneath that Bills hard hat. I've got a bottle of Angel's Envy that we got this year from the distillery right after we beat Louisville with the score engraved on the bottle.
Oh, wow.
So I may even, I may have to bust that open if Alabama wins this game, we get to the championship.
Nice choice.
Yeah,
nice choice.
I like it. Well, Coach, I know you guys were making a run in the conference tournament there. Didn't end the way you wanted to, but it felt like a good positive step at the end of the season for you there at Arkansas State.
Yeah, I'm thrilled with the effort from this group. I'm very fortunate to be here and to have the group that I did. We battled injuries all year. I had 3 scholarship guys out for the entire season on medical red shirt. We lost guys throughout the year. We had one of our starters only played 10 Sun Belt games. But again, like I mentioned earlier about this Alabama team, I thought we played our best basketball in February and March. And that says a lot about this group. They came together. We started to have an identity. Obviously, when you fall one game short of making the NCAA tournament in your first year, it's painful. But we went on and played in the CBI. We won 2 games there. First postseason victory for Arkansas State in 33 years. and first, only the fourth time in school history to win 20 Division I games. So super thrilled and honored to be here. Jeff Parenthood for giving me this opportunity, and really excited about our future.
Well, keep it up. I know you're very well thought of at Tuscaloosa, so I hope you continue to be very well thought of in Jonesboro as well, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks, fellas. Enjoy.
All right, good talking with you. That is Coach Bryan Hodgson, the former assistant for Nate Oats there at Buffalo and in Tuscaloosa, and also now the head coach at Arkansas State.
And for those that don't know, I won't say everyone, but almost every coach is in Phoenix for the Final Four. They have a national meeting that goes on there, and it's always been talked about. The hotel lobbies or where business cards back in the old days were exchanged and relationships were forged, maybe over an Angel Envy.
Yeah. I remember one of the great stories I heard is when John Wooden, the last time him and his wife attended a Final Four, or maybe it was the last time either she or he did, or both, but he was pushing her in a wheelchair out of the lobby, and everybody stood up. All the coaches stood up and gave a standing ovation and clapped.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
But I've always heard, like, I've been to one Final Four. I haven't been to those lobbies and hung out, and you'll have the opportunity this coming week in Phoenix. But to see the who's who of college basketball really is cool.
Yeah. Our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama and New York Butcher Shop bringing us part of the show. One more thing to get to in this segment. Pretty mind-boggling stat for you. Urology Centers of Alabama first. It's always important, guys, to stay on top of your health. That's where UCA comes in. UrologyCentersAlabama.com, 205-930-0920. Everything from prostate health all the way to kidney stones. They'll take care of you. UrologyCentersAlabama.com. 16 locations around Alabama to help you out. Schedule an appointment today. Get checked out and then stay on top of your health. UrologyCentersAlabama.com. And your butcher shop, a great way to eat this weekend, man.
Yeah, I had the steaks I picked up Saturday from the 119 location. I went in there yesterday. I actually picked up Italian last night for dinner and just stopped in and saw Jim and picked up a couple of bottles of red wine.
It's a great wine. That's where I go for my wine, man.
Yeah, he does have a great selection. They've always got different sales going on. He is very versed in the wine as well. Great selection of fine wines and desserts. Of course, the finest and certified Angus prime beef steaks, burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you. The New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Caba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Nicholas, Jimmy, you getting some golf out in Phoenix? I am not. Work a lot on these trips. Jeff says LT had some good wild turkey on the Suttles Bama and Bourbon. Was that a good one?
I'm trying to remember which. I think it was one of the reserve wild turkeys. But Chan and the Beverage Place and Pink Package do a great job. I don't even know. You saw the bourbon that we're previewing this week. I don't even know what it is.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was delivered. I had to fill in for Lance last week. He was on vacation, and right as we were finishing taping Bama and Bourbon, they delivered the one for this week. And all I know is Aaron looked at it and was like, "Ooh, this is a good one."
Yeah, run and get it real quick.
Okay.
I'm an hour and 19 minutes away from my first bourbon of the day.
Yeah, in Bama and Bourbon.
Yeah, I haven't had a bourbon since
so
Saturday.
Aaron, before he goes out to Phoenix, and LT with another edition of Bama and Bourbon later today. Little T has Uncorked up. You can go see her podcast that she has up, Uncorked. I'd try to describe it, but it's a little bit of everything at Uncorked. You can get that. And
what do we got?
Bourbon today is this.
Bowman Brothers. I've never had it. I've heard a lot about this. It's a Virginia straight bourbon whiskey.
Small batch, too. Yeah, when Aaron saw it, he said, "Ooh, I like this one." I don't know if he had heard good things about it or had it before.
Yeah, I've heard good things about this.
So they'll open that one up today. You can watch that on our platforms, everything next round, and disrupt the media. Here's the amazing stat from earlier today. And this comes from the folks at The Athletic. LeBron James is now, and this is Forbes as well, Forbes gives us the new list of billionaires in the world.
Is he a billionaire now?
LeBron is now a billionaire, $1.2 billion.
Yeah.
New to the list is Magic Johnson at $1.2 billion. Taylor Swift's new to the list. She's a billionaire. Michael Jordan, the highest-ranked sports person that's a billionaire.
Yeah, he still is, even with a divorce.
$3.2 billion he's down to.
3.2 for Jordan?
Yeah, he's down to $3.2 billion. He lost a little bit of that. Tiger Woods is only at $1.3 billion. He was higher at one point.
Good to know you can recover from divorces.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, Tiger's
Where's
done okay.
Bezos?
Yep.
Sport Track and Bleacher Report with those numbers. And then this. LeBron James has been an NBA All-Star since 2004. That means 2.5% of the human existence all time human existence on the planet has been alive with LeBron as NBA All-Star. 2.5% of human existence has been alive while LeBron has been an NBA All-Star. 2.8 billion people have been born worldwide since LeBron became an All-Star. That's right now a third of the population on the planet only knows LeBron James as an NBA All-Star.
I'm not really surprised, are you?
I mean, 2.5%, when you consider how long this world has been around and how long from the cavemen to now people have been roaming this earth, that's pretty remarkable.
Life expectancy, though, pretty short.
Yeah,
back
it was
in the
pretty
day.
short back then. The woolly mammoth would take care of you back in the day.
And I'm going to tell you, they probably weren't very good at filling out their census back in the cave days. But we know in the Bible, that's why we were all heading to Jerusalem, right? It was census time.
Oh, it was. Yeah,
day.
when Jesus was born. Yeah, the old Roman census. So you had to go to your hometown. So old Joseph and Mary loaded up the old mule and took off.
So LeBron's been an all-star for a long, long time is my point there. NBA back at it tonight. You got a good one going tonight, too. OKC and Boston. Arguably two of the better teams playing 6:30 on ESPN, lanceslock.com for plays on games that are happening tonight, including baseball. Braves lose yesterday to the White Sox.
What?
How about that?
I didn't think the White Sox. I thought they were 0-162 this year, the White Sox.
Yeah, I did. Forster's got the hat on. Forster, White Sox. Was it the White Sox or the Barons the Braves lost to yesterday?
Yes.
They're kind of one and the same right now.
Yes, the answer is yes, Jim.
3-2 now, Atlanta is. They get a day game today, 1:10 getaway game for Atlanta. So a little day baseball for you Braves fans there. Bryce Harper, 3 home runs in one game last night. He was hitless until then. One of those in a grand slam there. So there's some of your headlines. We'll get back to basketball here from Nate Oats, and then the final hour of the show all coming up. Being brought to you today in part by our friends at NASCAR. We'll keep telling you all the way up until race weekend, April 19th through the 21st, that you can get tickets. If you already got tickets, you can check it out right now. Check it out right now and maybe upgrade to maybe the garage experience, some box suite seats. Maybe you want to camp out, primitive camping, all the way to the high-end RV camping with full hookups and some stadium seating for you. All available, the garage experience and a lot more. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, or call them up, 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Back in a moment.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by Amherst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
Get ready to level up your fandom with the Autograph app. Co-founded by the legendary Tom Brady himself, this app is your one-stop shop for everything college sports. Access to all the best sports content, exciting fan challenges, and exclusive rewards. Think crazy discounts on tickets, limited edition merch, and much more. Just look at this. Autograph hooked up 6 lucky fans with tickets to the Arkansas-Alabama game for just $16 a ticket. That's what they call true fan pricing. Ready to join the party? Download the free Autograph app today and use the code TNR for exclusive access.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Cool Ray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
More Final Four talk coming up at the top of the hour. Already Rece Davis and former Alabama assistant, now Arkansas State head coach Bryan Hodgson on the show. They are available wherever you get our podcast. Adam Schefter, first to report Stefon Diggs leaving the Bills for the Texans in a trade. It's draft month already, by the way. So
3 weeks away for this weekend, yeah.
So because of the ongoing spring practices, A-Day for Auburn this week, Alabama next week, the coaching changes, and Alabama's run to the Final Four. We have not talked a lot about the draft. There'll be time for that before we get to draft date coming up, but some interesting moves happening in the NFL. Show being brought to you by our friends with the Indy Grand Prix of Alabama, coming, Brownie, back to the Barber Motorsports Park. This is an annual event that continues to grow in popularity.
Yeah, it is April 26th through the 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind. That is victory. You can witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal. He'll give the most iconic command in sports racing: start your engines.
Start your engines.
So, I mean, Jim really should be doing it.
He should be the Michael Buffer of this.
We could give Riley Green the day off.
Gentlemen and lady, please start your engines.
Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by First at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast, so get yours now.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, the biggest takeaway, at least from those that cover Auburn athletics yesterday, was the comment from the athletic director, John Cohen, about the athletic apparel. Under Armour school, will it one day soon be a Nike school? That has been the buzz out there. Here's John Cohen, the AD down at Auburn, talking to us yesterday.
We've been after this since September the 1st contractually, and we feel like we're in a very, very positive place right now. I think our fan base, everyone connected with Auburn, is going to be very, very pleased with where we are. Just not ready to release because not all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed.
Is that one of the most asked questions you get, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot.
So you knew that was coming.
Yeah. And you know, rightfully so, especially from student athletes, because, you know, those shoes you put on, they're not just a uniform.
Right.
I mean, they're part of the anatomy, right?
Yeah.
And we got a lot of input from student athletes. We got a lot of input from fans. We got a lot of input from our coaches, from staff members, and everyone across all the stakeholders of Auburn University. And we listened.
Well, now I'm not following this story as close as apparently everyone else is. But is it Nike, the assumption that
what everybody wants
school?
is Nike, yeah. And it appears, I think the belief was between Under Armour and Nike. And Under Armour, their stock price is down. I think maybe they overbought in this market, trying to compete against Nike and Adidas. And it appears, Lance, they're scaling back a little bit on some of their they're going more like Steph Curry, Jordan Spieth, going more athlete-specific, maybe and less school-specific. So I'll be surprised, especially based on those comments from John Cohen, if it's not Nike.
Yeah, look, I don't know if it's a bigger deal now. You know, back in the George Raveling world, where you could kind of steer recruits based on, you know, what shoe you were with. It seemed like it was a bigger deal back then. You know, there was speculation before Bruce took the job. One of the problems Auburn had with hiring was they were an Under Armour school. But I think Nike can probably outbid anyone.
Yeah. And Scott's making a great point here. Jumpman, which is Jordan's logo, part of the Nike family.
There's only 8 schools.
Yeah, there's only it's a limited group there, but North Carolina was the first. Michigan is one, I believe.
Oklahoma
is one.
UCLA is one.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to name one all. And UCLA, I think, went from Under Armour to Jumpman, right?
I think Georgetown is.
I think UCLA went from Adidas to Jumpman.
Yeah, they did.
You sure UCLA was never Under Armour?
Yeah, I don't think
they were Adidas.
Yeah,
Nebraska still might be Adidas. Tennessee was Adidas for a minute.
But again, to Lance's point, there was a day where your basketball recruiting depended heavily on who your shoe brand was. And it better be Nike or Adidas or you're getting nobody. And to the point, and we were telling Little T this story on the way down yesterday when we were talking about bringing this up with John Cohen, to the point that Gary Williams, the legendary Maryland coach, Maryland is Kevin Plink's school. They were an Under Armour school, and Kevin Plink, the CEO of Under Armour, played football at Maryland. And when they changed to Maryland, Gary Williams said, hey, that is great for football. Basketball's going to stay Nike because I got to get players.
That's right.
And it was the weirdest thing. Basketball was Nike until Gary Williams retired, and then they swapped over to Under Armour. But as long as he was there, they were a Nike school in basketball.
It's a little different now, but Nike and Adidas ran these massive youth AAU camps.
Oh, yeah.
Every summer, and that's where all the big coaches went. I think
that's where paid. George Raveling was in the mix. Have you ever seen the movie Air? Have you guys seen Air?
I have not gone to see that yet.
You guys need to. That'd be a fun, when all of this crazy activity dies down, maybe a weeknight, stream Air. It's really well done.
Alan says UCLA was Under Armour. Nicholas says that.
Remember, they got that big settlement from Under Armour when the deal got. I think Under Armour basically bought the contract out to get away from UCLA.
Yeah, to get away.
I think it was. I'm looking it up right now. I don't have all the details on this, but it was a $67 million settlement from Under Armour to UCLA. UCLA had sued them, and that's how that relationship ended. So. I don't know what the benefits of being Jumpman are other than having a cool logo that few people have. Like,
I think it's more exclusivity.
Maybe so. I don't know if it's
Nike on steroids.
I don't know if the dollar value is any different.
Well, I would imagine
from a Nike deal.
You get a little. Jordan probably gives you a little extra love himself, right?
He may.
Well, I mean, it's just exclusive right now.
Yeah. And on the basketball uniform, it looks really good.
It does.
On the football uniform, it looks a little out of place, but
you're getting more used to it. It did look a little strange.
Yeah, but that's big news for Auburn as they continue to try to rework things. But nobody will be more happier than that than basketball.
For Auburn?
Yeah, bigger factor for basketball than anywhere else. Tell us about Michelson, and we'll do one more thing here before we get to the top of the hour.
Yeah, make the phone call that I made more than 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. It seems like everything is going up in price, but not for LASIK at Michelson Laser Vision. Dr. Jennifer and Mark Michelson have held the cost of LASIK steady at the pre-inflation pricing from 2 years ago. All you got to do is call 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. Ask about the pre-inflation pricing. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. $0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Again, 205-969-8100. For more information, you can go online, michelsonlaservision.com.
It is portal season. Could be interesting to some if he doesn't stick with his decision to go to the NBA, but FAU's Janelle Davis is in the portal, a 6'4" shooting guard who helped lead FAU last year to the Final Four. Davis is a player. He's going to test the NBA waters, but if he stays in college, it's going to be somewhere else other than FAU. Would fit into anybody's system. That's a guy to keep an eye on.
Yeah, he's a scorer, and he was the main cog last year en route to a Final Four for the Owls. I would think, look, 6'4" shooting guards are a dime a dozen in the NBA, and he is not a guy that has completely separated himself, so I haven't seen him on any mocks. It's a good chance he would get drafted in the second round, but I think he could make good money coming back and playing for a Power 5 team.
Michigan, maybe? I mean, if you're Dusty May, do you try to convince him to come with you?
Why not?
I mean, I'm sure he'll make that call.
Yeah, why not?
Jumpman school, so cool logo. But, he would fit into Bruce at Auburn, Nate in Tuscaloosa. I watched a little bit of the McDonald's All-Star game last night. It had an Auburn player and 2 Alabama players in it. The little point guard who's coming, I can't remember his name now, that's coming to Kentucky, is a stud. You throw a shooting guard in with that guy, it'd be good for Kentucky. Could fit in anywhere. Speaking of portal, LeBron James says his son Bronny has a decision to make with Andy Enfield officially being announced as the SMU coach. He says Bronny will decide whether he wants to stay at USC or not.
But there's another part of that story, and I don't know if we're going to get into it later, but I would think this is a factor. It appears
Eric Musselman is their leading candidate.
It's the next story here. Eric Musselman interviewing for USC. It's an awkward situation because Hunter Yurachek got the Arkansas folks to dust off a video that I think is 2 or 3 years old.
Yep.
Showing the Muss bus and Yurachek opening up and Musselman getting on the bus with the athletic director, and everyone just took that tweet saying he's not interested in USC. They've worked it out. He's going to stay at Arkansas. Not the case at all. And Yurachek doing a podcast, he was on One Star Recruits podcast saying, no, we were just talking about, he's still the Arkansas coach when we sent that tweet out. And now it's up to him if he's going to be the Arkansas coach or not. As we record this, currently he is, and he kept saying, as we record this, he's currently the Arkansas coach, making it look like it's up to Musselman whether or not he's going to be the USC coach.
It's weird. Musselman, this year was a disaster, but before this, he's had a lot of success.
Two straight Elite Eights.
Arkansas is a better job than USC. USC is a better job than SMU. Enfield, who got to an Elite Eight in 2021. They had a disaster, but they battled a lot of injuries this past year.
SMU has all kinds of money, and they're in the ACC now, so that helps. He wouldn't have taken the job he said.
I hear
if
that.
it had not been the ACC.
But it feels like Enfield's one step in front of the posse, and it feels like Musselman's one step in front of the posse. It's like the posse's just chasing these guys all over the
there must
country.
be something internal going on with Musselman. Now, look, he did play college basketball in San Diego. He's coached in Los Angeles before, so he knows the territory well.
His family has big ties there in Southern California, and they're going to the Big Ten, so it's not like he's going to a non-Power 6 league there. And then Forrester told me this one. He said, did you see that every Louisville player entered the portal yesterday? I said, every? And he said, every. I said, every? He said, every one of them, Jim. I said, every one of them, Scott? He said, not one single player.
Entire roster, Jimmy.
Is left at Louisville.
I mean, that's bad for Pat Kelsey, man. You start in a deep hole there, don't you?
Almost would, But if I stay, I know I'm starting.
I mean, if you're Pat Kelsey, though, wasn't that an 8-win team? I'm like, what
You
am I
remember
really,
there was
what
a
am I really losing?
time when it was all about playing time?
Yeah.
And now you're guaranteed playing time.
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting to see how many College of Charleston kids he takes with him.
Oh, he'll take
to Louisville.
take a couple.
Better get a few.
And now. All right, top of the hour. One more hour to go here. It's all open. We'll get back into the Final Four conversation. It is practice day. It's 9 o'clock Phoenix time right now. 9 o'clock in Phoenix. We were running through songs for a promo yesterday. 2 days ago, Little T was sending out a promo. Songs that have Phoenix in them or Arizona in them. Really quickly. First one that popped to mind, standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. I got 7 women on my mind. 4 that want to hold me.
I can't remember the country music artist, but he has a song about Tucson. I guess I was got to Tucson too late or something like that.
The great George Strait, oceanfront property in Arizona.
Well, I tell you, I can't think of a lot.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah. There's a couple out there, but Taylor found one and threw it into. We went with a little Big and Rich because in the one that's not the game day song, Phoenix is mentioned in that. So
there's is it not a band called Arizona?
There is a band called Arizona.
Wow,
it's kind of like
alt rock.
Alt rock, easy alt rock listening.
Yeah. All right, we're heading to Phoenix as well. Our coverage brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. They get you out and into the game, and they'll be bringing us our coverage out there. And don't forget, the fine folks at Total Sports Travel still have an opportunity for you to experience. They got packages. The charter flight that Taylor and I are on is booked. It's sold out. But they still have other packages for you right now. If you just go to their website, TotalSportsTravel.com, TotalSportsTravel.com. They're the official travel partner of the University of Alabama and with Auburn as well. So you can go check that out for any sporting event, but specifically this weekend. If you still want to be there for the dream weekend for Alabama basketball, TotalSportsTravel.com there. Top of the hour, this is The Next Round.
Follow John Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Man, that's a bold question, but it's got that irresistible taste to back it up. One thing's for sure, when you've got an irresistible tasty match like zero sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's too bad you can't taste it with your ears, because this Coke Zero Sugar tastes amazing. Truthfully, it's hard to put into words, and that's my job. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar. Best Coke ever? It's that time of year. Hoops, hops, and wings with our friends at Walk-Ons. We're talking about the unbelievable madness of the best viewing and the best food in town.
This tournament season, try any of the 3 local walk-ons in Trussville, Stadium Trace in Hoover, and also the Greystone location. A wonderful menu with original food, great drinks, but most importantly in tournament season, TVs everywhere, so you can keep up with how your bracket's burning.
Your home for all the tournament action is Walk-On Sports Bistro.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Cool Ray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hey, later on the Meltdown, at some point, I'm sure they're talking about WrestleMania this week. Jason Kelce, rumored to be part of WrestleMania this year. It's going to be at the Link there in Philadelphia. Check with the Meltdown today at 2 o'clock.
We talked a little bit about it yesterday.
Yeah.
Lunsford did his top 5 wrestlers all time.
He did?
Which is, wow.
Macho Man Savage on there.
You have to watch and listen.
Okay.
I'm not going to say anything.
Well, Dunaway's number
See,
one.
I think Travis Kelce would be, because he is so over the top and so polarizing.
But it's in Philly, so Jason Kelce played his whole career there. He's loved by
No, but I'm just
Eagle
talking
fans.
about for if you wanted to make that transition after your career.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Jason Kelce's not going to do that. He could sit back on his podcast and make millions of dollars.
Is this Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight pay-per-view? Is that this weekend?
No, it's July 20th.
Oh, why did I think it was this weekend?
I don't know. But we talked about the Paul's putting the work in. He's working out with the Olympic boxing team right now up in Colorado. He looks pretty good right now.
But WrestleMania is this weekend, I believe, right, Rockstar? You were part of the Meltdown yesterday.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Now, it was at this time last year because I can remember watching it. It was on Peacock. I can remember watching it between the 2 NCAA Tournament Final Four games.
2 o'clock, the Meltdown coming up this afternoon if you want to watch that. And by the way, it's nothing new having celebrities part of WrestleMania. The very first one in 1985, they had Mr. T. Remember him? Muhammad Ali. Cyndi Lauper fought. And that's not the most shocking person that fought. Liberace fought in 1985.
Is he still a confirmed bachelor?
Yeah. Liberace. Please manhandle me.
I'm pinned.
Don't count to 3, count to 200.
Our friends at Champy's Chicken brings you that WrestleMania update. Champy's Chicken. Don't wrestle with your decision on where to go for lunch. Make it our friends at Champy's, Highway 119 down in Alabaster. Shirley and the crew are ready to help you with a great lunch or dinner. Hand-cut chicken fingers, the deep southern fried chicken, brined overnight, cooked to order. Is piping hot Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It is champyschicken.com. And also by our friends right here at the Next Round, Brownie, that brings you the golf card.
They
for
are friends of mine.
Yes.
They're good friends of mine here at the Next Round. Your chance to play 4 Birmingham area golf courses for just $99. You get 18 holes of golf and card at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, the Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. This is all presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. There are a limited number of cards, but it's $247 value for just $99. The Next Round Deluxe card, $119, gets you all of that, plus the golf t-shirt, a koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions to this. It is good through October 2024, so you got plenty of time to use it. But as I said, supplies are limited. Get your golf card now, nextround.store, nextround.store. I've heard so many people, when we did the fall card, talk about giving it as a Christmas gift or getting it as a Christmas gift. So think about this for like birthdays and things like that coming up. Now, you want them to be able to use it this summer, but it's just a great gift idea too, and pretty cheap one.
All right, great way to get out and play a little golf this year with some of our friends at some local golf courses there. All right, back to Alabama in the Final Four. I want you to hear Nate Oats here talk about just the mentality possibly of his team and tell me how this could factor in for Alabama. This is Nate Oats before he jumped a plane yesterday to Phoenix, Arizona.
Somebody showed me we're the the 4th largest point spread going in the Final Four in history. So, nobody's going to pick us to win. Kind of playing with house money a little bit, if you will. But, our guys, we weren't supposed to beat Clemson. We weren't supposed to beat North Carolina. A lot of people were picking against us, Grand Canyon. And I get it. Like, our defense hasn't been good all year. You need a good defense to win in the postseason. Sometimes, the best team, the one that's picked, doesn't always win. So we're going to go in playing as hard as we can, but there's not going to be a ton of pressure on us. Like, we've made this school's first Final Four. We're going to enjoy the fact that we're there, that there's only 4 teams left playing. The entire basketball world. This isn't just the U.S. watching this. This is all basketball across the globe watching the Final Four. They're all going to, it's great. But you're there. We're going to try to win. Every game we play, we try to win it.
There is always going to be a cloud of suspicion around the game I'm about to bring up. But the biggest semifinal upset, it felt like in my lifetime, was 1991, Duke?
91, but they were only a 4.5 point.
That's what I was about to ask you. They were 4.5. That's all, huh?
Yeah.
Over UNLV.
That Duke team was really, really
good.
But
UNLV was undefeated.
Well, but the thing is, UNLV was playing in the Big West. They hadn't been challenged by anybody. I think Seth Greenberg and Long Beach State were the only team that played them within 10 the entire year.
Right.
But here are some of the numbers. I don't know if you've seen this, but Gonzaga, when they played UCLA after UCLA beat Bama, remember UCLA was a play-in that year, an 11 seed. Gonzaga was a 14-point favorite in that Final Four game. That was the largest spread in the Final Four in 25 years.
UCLA win that one?
No, it went to overtime, though. Remember, Suggs Suggs hit a buzzer beater, remember, to walk it off.
Mm-hmm.
So outside of that, Duke in 99 was an 11-point favorite against Michigan State. Duke won the game, 68-62. Carolina in 2016 against the 10-seed Syracuse was favored 10. They won by 17. And the only other double-digit spread was 2013. Louisville was favored 9.5. It went to 10 over Wichita State, and they won by 4. So the Dogs have had a lot of success keeping these close.
Where my dogs at? Oh, my gosh. So really the only one that kind of got away was the
North Carolina and Syracuse, and that Syracuse team was not good, and they won that game by 17. I do think, and I've said this, I said it on Monday, Alabama gets the benefit of getting all this time to prepare for UConn. It's better to get UConn on Saturday than on Monday.
No, I would agree with you on that. The thing that worries me the most about Alabama is the shooting background. This is a team that's going to – there's no doubt about this. Alabama's going to have to hit a bushel of threes to win this thing.
None of these players, Brown, have ever missed a shot in a dome stadium.
You're absolutely right, Jim. That's the way you approach it, including Sam Walters, who it's going to be the Sam Walters game if Alabama wins. I just don't know how that's going to play. Now, here's the thing. Mark Sears, he has shot well everywhere this year. Everywhere. This is a different backdrop, but it has not affected Mark Sears. He has shot well everywhere. Jaron Stevenson, again, we talked about this Monday. This is a guy that can hit the band with his first three-point shot, and he does not stop shooting. So even if Jaron Stevenson starts cold, he's not going to quit shooting as long as he's playing.
Yeah, I just wonder what the carryover is going to be, because everybody expected Nelson was going to have a huge game after the game that he had against North Carolina.
And he didn't?
Well,
did not?
I mean, a lot of people, but was Grant Nelson, everyone was talking the guy going into that game.
It was such a breakout game before, but I just figured I'd seen him do that ever before.
And nobody was talking about Jaron Stevenson because Jaron Stevenson didn't do much against North Carolina.
I think it's going to be another guy. And look, the funny thing is, Mark Sears still, we have gotten so numb to how productive he is. And the Jalen Brunson comparison was pretty amazing, because Brunson, from Dallas to where he is right now with the Knicks, is one of the best guards in the NBA. I mean, just a great scorer. And I've just never really thought about Mark Sears in those terms. But when you look statistically at Mark Sears' numbers at Bama and Jalen Brunson's at Villanova, where he won a national championship, Sears' numbers are actually better.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And if you missed it earlier, Rece Davis said put him in the rafters. Hang Mark Sears' jersey in the rafters.
The problem there is the only retired number that Alabama has is Wendell Hudson. And understandably for what Wendell meant for Alabama men's basketball.
Don't retire the numbers, retire the jerseys, and do something like recognize the all-time greats or something.
Yeah, I mean, you probably got to play a lot of catch-up if Wendell's the only one hanging in the rafters there. There have been some phenomenal players that have played at Alabama in addition to Mark Sears. So, I mean, Lance is right. Maybe you just have a huge night where you just unveil 10 of them to start.
I mean, the game day ops used to be so bad when you just had, hot sauce against taco, or I forgot what it was, but like sometimes you need to be able to stare at things around the arena. And jerseys.
Yeah. You've heard the James Worthy story, right?
Big Game James? No.
Big Game James, when he took his daughter, and Rockstar may remember the concert. It might have been Taylor Swift, I don't know, but it was at Staples Center. And as the story goes, his daughter points up at the rafters and said, "Look, Dad, there's another guy named Worthy who's got his jersey retired here," or is they're honoring or something like that.
Can I tell you, I was a little disappointed with that part of crypto, because I just always pictured the jerseys hanging from the rafters.
No, they got them on the wall.
They've got them on the wall there. But then on the flip side, the Kings actually have theirs sort of hanging down.
So who do the Kings?
Sort of look trashy on that end.
Oh yeah.
Marcel Dion's got to be there.
Is
Rob Blake,
is that
Wayne
Gretzky guy? That Gretzky guy is here.
Gretzky's there. I'm sure. I looked up at him. I did not pay a lot of attention. I'm sure their two championships are up there. But
yeah.
But it was.
But the Lakers have got a ton.
The statues were cool as crap. I don't know who did the statues, but
and they got a good likeness. There's a lot of statues. I mean, you look at Nick Saban, you're like, dang, Nick Saban.
And there's a little color to the jersey. I mean, they were good looking statues.
Lakers got a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, but the Lakers, I mean, if they've retired so many jerseys, it would be hard to hang actual jerseys. I mean, because you got Magic, Worthy, Kareem,
I think
Kobe.
you've got like 10 to 12.
Jerry West has to be up there.
Elgin Baylor's there.
Baylor. I think Paul Gasol, didn't he get his retired?
I don't know if Paul did.
I think he did, because I think I remember saying,
I got no problem with that.
No, I think I remember asking on the show, does he really belong in the same set of rafters as James Worthy and
George
Magic Johnson?
up there?
I may have a picture. We can look at it in the break. I think I took a picture of it.
You didn't send it to Scott?
Did not send this to Scott pre-show. All right, show being brought to you by our friends at Precision Sports, and then we'll talk a little Auburn football before we get to trash. But our Alabama coverage from Phoenix begins on Friday. Team shoots around 1 to 150 Pacific time. 1 to 150 Pacific time will be their open practice. If you're in the area, that's open practice. All four teams put 50 minutes in on the floor of practice time in front of the folks in the stands. I think it's free to the public. But it is open for sure, and that is happening Friday. Today, they're doing private workouts. I do not know where they're doing it, though. I would bet Arizona State, but maybe not.
I'd go to Grand Canyon just to flex. Yeah. You guys remember when you almost beat us? We're out here to practice.
But anyway, our friends at Precision Sports get you back into the game. We'll see if Wrightsell gets back into the game. He has a game-time decision, worked out yesterday in front of Emily Grace and the gang who watched that practice. Precision Sports, whether it's a tweaked knee, pulled back muscle playing pickup with the kids or hurt something doing the lawn, it doesn't matter. Brookwood Baptist Health and the folks at Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics get you back in the game. Orthopedic care, better together, 205-512-3885, 512-3885, precisionsportsortho.com/2024. Had a chance yesterday to be down at Auburn. A lot of time pre and post show with Hugh Freeze. Got to go up to his office and hang out a little bit. But my favorite part, I wasn't even part of. It was really interesting. It wasn't interesting to me. It was interesting to me to see Payton Thorne in person and Luke Deal. But I had this perception of Payton Thorne through one time I've interviewed him in short sound bites I've seen from EG or others. And, you know, our buddy Justin Hokanson, Auburn Live on 3 Sports, stuff I've seen, you know, through his platforms, interviews. But to see him before we went on camera and then to watch you guys interview him fills up a room a lot better than I thought. A little bit of a leader quality in him than I thought he had. I was more impressed with him meeting him, and I feel a lot better about him as the quarterback than I did before I actually got to learn a little bit more about him.
His nostalgic look with the most random T-shirt you could possibly wear, the Sports Illustrated Double X.
Double X, yeah.
Yeah, no, I did think there was a confidence about him that he did seem to have that leadership quality because, you know, one of the questions, and Brown kind of beat me to it on a different angle with Hugh, was why Payton? Like, you've got some money. There were a lot of quarterbacks in this portal, and I just didn't see a ton of production. But sometimes, you know, again, going back to TCU, which we had, I don't know if this is going to be the clip or not, but Max Duggan was a guy that you saw had a skill set, but it really didn't get unleashed until of an injury to Chandler Morrison. Then he kind of took that team over.
Here is Payton Thorne talking about the change in the offense and having Hugh Freeze more involved in play calling this year, what he's seen through spring drills so far.
You change offensive coordinators. Coach Freeze says he's going to take over more of the play calling. Practically, how have you seen that be different in spring football, if at all?
Man, it's been a ton different.
Really?
Yeah, it's been awesome. You know, with the addition of Coach Nix, and obviously we have other new coaches as well. You know, everything that Coach Nix is preaching right now to our offense is, you know, I'm fully behind. And, you know, I've heard these things before, whether it be, you know, like you guys were talking about earlier from my family growing up in the football area, or, you know, some of the stuff that I really agreed with at the last place I was at that I thought, you know, helped us along the way. I'm hearing a lot of those things. And then obviously other new things that Coach Nix is bringing. I just really think that he's putting us in the right direction. And like you said, with Coach Freeze taking over more responsibility, obviously he's putting us in a good direction too. And just the detail is huge.
That's the word.
Yeah,
that's the word.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't really believe is them saying, and Luke Deal jumped right in. But we just didn't have any detail last year. And then, listen, you can't pin all of that on a fired offensive coordinator. That starts with Hugh Freeze,
too.
it
does. It does. And look, he's got an opportunity. It seems like he's getting everything in order now.
Yeah.
And look, there is a fill-out process. And, you know, we talked about roster with Hugh Freeze. But, yeah, that is on Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, I mean, he's the head coach, and he's an offensive guy. And I know he had a lot of balls in the air, which is why he said he was not calling plays last year, trying to rebuild a roster and rebuild a program. You hope that obviously him going back to calling plays changes things and gets the best out of Payton Thorne. He has stuck with Payton Thorne, Lance, so he sees something in this kid that a lot of people don't see.
Yeah, Dunaway, the optics would be so different. And I've said this before. If they would have held on the 4th and 31, which, by the way, this guy has got some of the most tragic finishes in the history of all of football at any level.
When he starts detailing
it's crazy. But if they would have beaten Alabama, I think they probably have a little more motivation going into the game against Maryland. I think they end up 8-4, and I do believe this is like Missouri, where teams, where national media is saying, you know what, this Auburn team is going to be sneaky good this year. So this could be a blessing in disguise that they go 6-7, and they sneak up on a lot of people this year.
Spring game is this Saturday, Jordan-Hare Stadium. Here is Hugh Freeze yesterday talking to us about Payton Thorne.
I get, you know, people in today's time, and everybody has a voice and whatever platform they choose to be on, and they don't get to see everything. I do believe in Payton as a person, number one, as a leader. Certainly, he's got to earn what comes his way. I believe that for everybody. And do I believe he can become better in our system? Yes. But I do think it takes people around him too. And you know, he was pretty dang good when he had those 2 NFL receivers at Michigan State. And, if we can put some of those around him, maybe he can, reach his full potential here. And but I do believe in who he is and what he's about and how he goes about doing it. His football IQ is good. He studies the game. And I also think we got some people that are pushing him a little bit right now that are going to help him become hopefully even better.
And that's what Hugh talked about yesterday after we left. They had a news conference with the folks that cover Auburn on the day in and day out basis. And Hugh talked about, we've been really working on the other quarterbacks. Maybe, we know Peyton's going to be fine in the fall. This spring, we've been working on the other guys to see who can challenge him for the starting job when we get to the fall.
I think it is more fascinating to know who the next guy is going to be.
Yeah, I fully anticipate if they do a depth chart coming out of spring, Payton Thorne's the one. Like if they release it after the spring game, or when you watch the spring game, he'll be with the ones. I'm like Lance. I want to see who the 2 is. If there is a official spring game depth chart Saturday, who is the 2 on that depth chart? And even if it's not Walker White, which I think a lot of fans, because they've seen the other guys a little bit, to a certain extent, I guess. Even if it's not Walker White, when it's mid-August and there are depth charts, where is he? Who's pushing Payton Thorne through the summer?
I think the expectation is whoever that guy is pushing should be a guy that's ready to play. Because, look.
He runs a lot.
Well, you're pulling for Payton Thorne to have a special year, but if he starts struggling, would you guys be surprised at all? And I'm not talking about injury. I'm just talking about performance-wise if somebody else gets to start this year.
First thing my high school baseball coach told the seniors my first year, Billy Woodham, told them, if we're going to lose, I'm going to lose young. I've always
believed that too.
Yeah, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose young. So we better turn it around here, or your senior butts are about to find yourself on the bench. I'm going to lose young, get some experience there. All right, fun day in Auburn yesterday. We enjoyed that. And it's springtime, spring game this Saturday at Jordan-Hare Stadium as they enjoy all the festivities down there for another big weekend. Anything we did in Auburn yesterday, always available as everything is here on our podcast, both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But always we send you to our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up. This hour brought to you by Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Highway 119 in Alabaster. It is open for lunch right now. Swing by there and see the fine folks at Champy's Chicken. While you're in there and eating that great food that Sterling prepares for you, you can also order a nice Redmont vodka. Get a Redmont vodka drink while you're in there.
8 times distilled, gluten-free. Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind the locally owned and operated product. If you're at a local bar or restaurant, they don't have it, ask for it by name. If they don't have it, tell them to get it. Available in 22 states as well. It is Redmont vodka.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at LegacyCreditUnion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Get ready to level up your fandom with the Autograph app. Co-founded by the legendary Tom Brady himself, this app is your one-stop shop for everything college sports. Access to all the best sports content, exciting fan challenges, and exclusive rewards. Think crazy discounts on tickets, limited edition merch, and much more. Just look at this. Autograph hooked up 6 lucky fans with tickets to the Arkansas-Alabama game for just $16 a ticket. That's what they call true fan pricing. Ready to join the party? Download the free Autograph app today and use the code TNR for exclusive access.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Cool Ray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by Amherst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
You know that portal can run hot and cold. We'll give you a portal update involving an Auburn player right after LT tells us about our friends at Hemp Hill.
205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham's trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Whether it's home or business, ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. Again, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Katie Johnson already in the portal, and Justin Hokanson of On3 Sports, Auburn Live, reporting that Trey Donaldson also now planning to enter the transfer portal from the Auburn basketball roster. So some of that backcourt going to be in the portal. Aiden Holloway, not part of the backcourt that is in the portal. You're obviously, you would think Aiden Holloway is a guy that Auburn very much wants to keep around, and I don't think it would sweat him at this moment.
I mean,
but
you think, because there's a lot of potential there, but, it didn't come with a lot this year. I mean, again, I thought it was more like Chad Baker-Mazara was the best in my opinion. And I think when you look at, KD coming off the bench and Donaldson and Holloway, it was kind of a collective effort.
Remember, Janai can come back. Cardwell can come back. Chad Baker-Mazara can come back. Trey surprises me a little bit. There were times I thought he was the better option out at guard than Aiden Holloway, but Holloway was the big recruit, and we'll see if he stays. But it's a plan. When Steven was on our show, I said sometimes they ask people to leave. And
yeah, I was thinking the same thing on some of these. But Trey is one of those guys where the production, it doubled. Like his minutes doubled, his production doubled, and you see flashes. And obviously Aiden is coming into this, there was a huge expectation. But Broom to me is the key.
So what do you think with him, though?
I think Broom, and I think I said this a couple of weeks ago, that if he can develop a consistent outside shot, I think he's got the game where he can be a guy that gets some minutes at the next level. I don't think he'll get drafted this year. That's why I think it's smart for him to come back and make, $600,000-$700,000.
Oh, he can get $1 million.
At Auburn.
Maybe. I mean, if I'm Auburn, that's my number one priority.
Yeah,
but I would definitely come back.
He's starting to sneak into the second round. You see some mocks where he's sneaking.
But I'm not
taking that chance.
I could be second round next year, right?
Yeah,
if I'm second round this year, I could be second round this next year.
And my goal is I want a guaranteed
Yeah.
contract next year, and I feel like I can develop my game and I can make enough money, more money than I've ever made before as a 21-year-old. So I think Broom, the smart play is to come back.
Adam's saying in the chat room, the word he's heard, Broom wants to move to the 4 and get 30 minutes. I mean, he won't be a 5 in the pros. So if he's looking for his future, it won't be at the 5.
I would be in the gym shooting, 23 to 25 footers nonstop, 1,000 a day.
Dude had a pretty smooth shot late in the year from three land there. Okay, the other big story involves the NFL. A little information on that right after LT tells us about Dr. B, and then we'll get to trash. Dr. B's got LT's hair looking perfect.
Yeah, yesterday, Shelly, when you were talking about hair, and I said something, and she was like, "You're the only one wearing a hat."
Yeah, it says the guy in the hat.
Like, I like to fly the colors and let people know about our different merch opportunities, but I would always wear a hat if it wasn't for Dr. B. Again, when we started this venture, it started to thin out a little bit. I noticed it on camera, asked around. Dr. Beckenstein is the name everyone mentioned. Not only is Dr. B for more than 20 years been helping men and women with a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures, he also has the Sensus Transdermal Infuser. This enables Dr. B to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary, as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. Call 205-319-0316, t3hair.net. Remember, I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times, 30 minutes each time a week. That's all I'm doing. The hair has more than doubled in thickness. Again, t3hair.net.
So we've talked several times about the Bills dumping Stefon Diggs to the Texans. Sports Track on the financial side of this, the Bills get $19 million cash in 2024 and acquire a 2025 second-round pick. Now, what that is enough ammunition, they believe, to move up in this upcoming draft to snag one of the young, high-prospect receivers and replace Stefon Diggs with a rookie.
Well, same thing to an extent the Tennessee Titans tried. Now, Stefon Diggs is not A.J. Brown, Lance, but A.J. Brown wanted a big contract. Tennessee was like, you know what, we'll play in the draft here. You can go. And they go get Treylon Burks out of Arkansas, thinking they had another A.J. Brown. Did not work out. So then they had to come back a couple of years later, pay basically what Brown wanted to get Calvin Ridley. So it did not work for the Titans.
So the Bills right now, where they sit on their first round, and I wonder how much they can move up, because you've got 3 what are viewed like elite receivers. And that would be Malik Neighbors, that's obviously Marvin Harrison Jr., and Rome Odunze. The Bills don't have a first-round pick.
That's a problem. That's a lot to have to get a first-round pick. They've got a second round and some cash for a first-round pick?
Yeah, so they would they got $19 million in cash.
Excuse me, they got 28 third draft.
And they point out that it will cost a rookie contract about $19 million. So basically, the Stefon Diggs trade is going to be paid for the new rookie contract, according to Sports Track.
Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network described this as Buffalo definitely hitting a reset button right now. So, I mean, this is it's a weird time for Buffalo. You know, they've had a whole lot of success. They've got a quarterback that I think everybody feels like is easily a top 10, at times a top 5 quarterback in the league. What do they have to show for this?
Probably have to go top 6, top 7 to guarantee you get one of those 3.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I mean, Harrison Jr. is going to go. He's going to be the first 9 quarterback 100% off the board. It might be 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks, but he's going to go 4th.
Yeah.
So I think, you definitely got to move up there. If I'm a Bills fan, I'm disgusted. Like, you've had this window.
I know, and you've done nothing with it.
And you look at the other quarterbacks that have had opportunities, or even better opportunities than Josh Allen.
But I'm disgusted too, because they're making this trade not because of Diggs. It doesn't feel like anyway, because of Diggs' production. They're making this trade because Diggs and Allen just can't get along, it appears.
He's been unhappy, so you want to get something before he leaves on his own. Brian Thomas Jr., another good one up there, according to Daniel A.D. Mitchell. Maybe fall into that window that they may be able to get to. All right, trash time now, brought to you by Mortgage Right. Rockstar, the big button, please.
Father of 2, Dale Decker, suffers from a rare and seemingly incurable condition that leads to him suffering up to 100 unwanted orgasms a day.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
He could be Ladd McConkey could be that guy.
Not the guy in the trash open, but
no,
the guy.
No.
Ladd McConkey.
First down, possession receiver.
Alabama's in the Final Four.
Are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began as a veteran-owned/operated company. They make sure they help every veteran that calls. Best terms available, guide you through every single step of the process. Visit their location, Highway 280 in Birmingham. You can apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200. Big possession for the Rams here, by the way.
It's like Lance is watching the Super Bowl for the first time.
Okay,
what
so if
if you had to do a show during a Rams Super Bowl?
I don't think I'd do the show.
Yeah, I don't think you
would. Hey,
would.
so if you tossed a coin 350,000 plus times, do you think it's 50-50?
Oh, this is so weird. I had this discussion the other day at the convenience store I go to every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little context here.
Yeah, no, I go to a convenience store every day, and the guy was, I can't remember. Oh, he's going to give me my drink free. He said, let's call it in the air, and you can have your Diet Coke free, or you have to pay.
Was his name Anton Chigurh?
It was not, but it was a lot like that. And I said, tails never fails, and it was heads. And he goes, well, they say it's a 50-50 proposition. And I said, I really don't believe it is. Because you would have to ensure that every quarter was the exact same weight on both sides.
Well, the stock photo we have shows the nickel standing on its edge occasionally.
That's tough to do. Now, coin often used in these kind of situations, with the theory being there's an equal chance it will land on heads as it will land on tails. As it turns out, however, not actually true. And it's not due to the case of heads I win, tails you lose. The revelation comes from a pre-registered study which recorded the results. 350,757 coin tosses suggested there is, in fact, a tiny bias involved in the flipping of any coin. Now, the study involved 48 people who flipped that number of times from 46 different currencies. After all of this flipping, researchers found that the coins had a 50.8% chance of landing on the side that it actually started on.
That's what I always do.
Yeah.
Like if it's funny, I was going to bring that up. Like if we're calling heads or tails and you call heads, then I put it on tails as I flip it.
Interesting.
So I've helped myself by 0.8%.
See, now I've always felt like heads looked heavier than tails. Like the head looks heavier than the eagle with all the stuff.
Now, this study, it's a theory called the Diaconus model, which the researchers used to claim that coins are more likely to land facing the same way they were when the coin toss began.
That's interesting.
See, how do you even do that study? Because when you flip it, you can use different
thumb
power.
But how many
so
times
much
do you
variable.
How many times do you do it in a row? Like if you're flipping a coin, typically it's a one-off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, are they doing like and hit it on a table, or doing it with the other hand?
No, but I'm just talking about when you flip a coin for something, you're only doing it one time.
But now let me further blow your mind.
I'm going to do best of 7 moving forward.
Let me further blow your mind. Most people, when they flip the coin, they flip it, catch it, and then do what?
Flip it over.
That's right. So where did it land? The opposite of where they flipped it over, right?
I played poker with this one guy that every big decision he flips a coin.
Again, is he Anton Chigurh?
It's a rough guy to play with. Sometimes
is he possibly an employee?
He possibly is an employee.
If he walks in with a big air canister and a pump, you need to leave.
I called. I don't know if you're talking about Lunsford or not.
No,
what a
it's Melton.
great catch by Cooper Cup. Super Bowl 56.
It's on TV here in the studio.
I reached out to Lunsford the other night about something involving one of our spots up here. He called me back, and he didn't know what I'd called about. And I was like, hey, will you shoot me over your address? I'm coming to poker night. He's like, you are not. I was like, F no, I'm not coming to poker.
Yeah. He flips a coin on every big decision.
Every big decision, huh?
Samantha Gonzalez, 37 years old, was expecting to experience a, quote, orgasm of light and love and beauty.
Okay.
But she was left terrified.
Ugly.
Speed loading. Or speed toting, I should say. Speed toting is a term used for smoking a potent drug made from toad venom through a pipe. Now,
that's a lot of work.
Although it's become a popular choice of healing recently, the substance, also called Bufo alvaris, has been known since the Middle Ages. Celebrities like Mike Tyson, Chelsea Handler have reportedly sampled the powerful substance. 37-year-old traveled from Michigan to Mexico with her husband to try the drug after watching a documentary of what is said to heal trauma, addiction, and anxiety. She went on to say the experience was, quote, very scary and terrifying.
Isn't this the one where people back in the day used to lick it and get high?
There's a toad that you lick, but this is actually somehow putting it into a smoking. We're making it easier for you these days. We'll get the venom out and you can smoke it.
I don't want to hallucinate at all. Samantha said she expected a scenic retreat, but it was located in the busy Tulum town, centered in just a tent.
Who would up here of all of our employees? Who would be your psychedelic Sherpa on your
your psychedelic Sherpa?
Like if I had to have somebody lead me through my journey?
Yeah, through your highness. You're hallucinating, but we put you in a safe room, but you want somebody in there to
probably EG.
Should be nice and talk you through it.
Yeah, probably. Taylor, she just gets sick of it.
Yeah.
This dude threw up again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you started throwing up, EG does not seem like she could handle that very well.
No, she'd probably walk out on that too, but I think she'd come back in to check on me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tell you, I don't want to be in this situation.
Truthfully, I think you should go brown.
Brad doesn't like throw up. Who likes throw up?
I don't like throw up.
Nobody does, but
I had to clean shit up from Chili got a hold of a spicy chicken sandwich the other night. Middle of the night, got up, threw up on the crate, threw up all over the house.
Ugh. Those dogs, man. You got pictures of that?
I did not take pictures of that. I was going to take a picture because we went to the New York butcher shop. I said this on Saturday and got a pan of the banana nut bread.
Right.
And left it on the counter, went outside watching some of the game. She took the entire pan, into her crate, ate every bit of it, including half of the foil.
That foil's got to pass
dinosaur.
tough. That foil's got to pass tough.
Bull shark.
Yeah. You know what you need? A taller island.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, Brad Bell's gonna hit that call soon.
Oh yeah, A+ tile home remodeling.
Okay, here are origins of 3 food phrases. I'll let you guys guess. Take it with a grain of salt. This one's really interesting, by the way.
Take it with a grain of salt means just deal with it, man.
We know what it means. What's the origin?
Oh, okay.
You want a steak? I'll take it with a grain of salt.
Take it with a grain of salt is...
I think I actually know this.
They used to put salt in the wound.
Nope. Salt used to be currency back in the day.
Okay.
So
I'll let you go ahead.
Salt was currency back in the day. That's absolutely true. This
early,
is how
early 80s.
No,
salt,
this
sugar.
is back like in the biblical days. Salt that's where the phrase "he's not worth his salt" came from, right?
Okay.
He's not worth what I'm paying him. So I would think take it with a grain of salt means it's very little value.
This one theory is that a Roman general built up his immunity to various poisons by ingesting small amounts of them. To make the poisons more palatable, he swallowed them with a single grain of salt.
Okay, interesting. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, boy, you take a little too much, though. That's a bad experiment.
It's gotta be a grain, though.
Yeah, just 1 grain of salt.
How about selling like hotcakes?
Hotcakes are sold in stacks, multiple, not one at a time. So selling like hotcakes.
I'm with Dunaway. And when they're hot, people want them right away, Jim, because they just came out of the...
Alternate explanation is that in Britain, Canada, and Australia. We
just didn't go. We know what they mean. How do they originate?
Pancakes are traditionally eaten on Shrove Tuesday, the day before Ash Wednesday, and the beginning of Lent in the Christian calendar, because it is an occasion for using up all the butter, sugar, and other ingredients. And people plan to deny themselves during Lent in anticipation of the 40 days. Pancakes are gobbled down quickly. Even if they're not literally being sold, it's selling like hotcakes.
Makes sense, selling like hotcakes.
What about sowing your wild oats?
That originated, LT.
The Quaker guy just going haywire when the wife was out of town.
Back in Ireland, that when harvest time was done, he would go out to sow his wild oats.
All right, harvest time's done.
Guess what I'm sowing now?
Avena fatua is a species of grass in the oat genus, and has been called wild oats by the English for centuries. Though it is thought to be the precursor of cultivated oats, farmers have long hated it because it is a useless crop and hard to separate from cultivated oats and removed from fields. Literally, sowing wild oats, then, is a useless endeavor, and the phrase is applied to people engaging in idle pastimes.
Can we start calling Alabama's offense the wild oats offense?
You could.
It would be really good.
And the announcer says, "But the Tide's sowing their wild oats here in Houston."
This
T-shirt?
probably specific put on here for Brown. But YouGov commissioned a poll that found a lot of Americans think they could do different things against wild animals. 61% of Americans think they could take on a goose. I don't think a goose would be difficult.
No, I got me v goose. I'd go me.
72% of Americans think they could beat up a rat. I would take me over the rat.
Me v rat. I got me.
Yeah, but I would tell you, recently we had one that made its way into the garage back in winter.
A rat or a mouse?
A rat.
Ooh, time to put it on the market.
Big one.
Ooh. A tiny one, a big one.
It was a big one.
Put it on the market.
It's mouse if it's small. It was a rat. And I came eye to eye with it one day when I was trying to look for it. And I was thinking it was going to be a mouse, and it was a rat. And we called professionals.
Hey, so Rocky, I see Leo getting attacked by the bear and the revenant. We've seen the video of the dude, the pugilist against the kangaroo. What is going on with the bird?
I don't know. It looks like some kind of, I don't even know.
And that's a goose.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. But
they attack you.
61% thinks that's working. She is losing.
Okay, This is what I don't feel good about moving forward. 17% of Americans think they would win in a fight with a chimp. I think it's got
strong.
underrated, yes.
Oh, they're strong. And
yeah,
they're quick.
but I think we've got it out of order. I would have eagle more than large dog. Like, I'd rather go against a large dog than an eagle.
Oh, I think I'd rather take an eagle on, depending on what the species of the dog. I mean, you're not
eagle-
going to win either.
No.
14% of Americans think they could beat a kangaroo in a fight. I would rather fight the kangaroo, though, than the chimp, I think.
Kangaroos, I think, a little bigger than most people think. I think I don't know that they're ill-tempered.
Again,
they've got
kangaroos
claws.
Yeah.
I know. So you might get, a gash. You got to get sewn up, stapled up, possibly. But what we've seen, though,
slashed to death.
we had a story where a chick got her face torn off by a chimp. Did she not, right?
That was on Xanax.
Yeah,
that was sleeping with he went haywire and ripped her face off.
Yeah, the chimp, the problem is the chimp, I think the kangaroo might fight with some strategy. I think the chimp's going to fight like there is no tomorrow. Like, he's all in.
Just blind rage.
Yeah, he's just crazy,
That's
man.
why I would rather have.
No, I'm with you.
He's trying to, because of movies, we're making it look like the kangaroo's going to square up and box by rules.
Come on.
No,
that chimpanzee street fighting is going to bite us.
That kangaroo had attacked that dude's dog. That's a real life video.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, and I've seen kangaroos actually stand up like that.
Under kangaroo is wolf. It's never one-on-one with wolf. They come in packs.
That is true. That's what's scary about
I've
that.
got two more, and this shows you how dumb our society is. 8% of Americans think they could fight a gorilla and win.
Yeah. See, from I think from wolf on down, if you don't have a gun, you don't have a chance. You don't survive.
And 6% think they could actually beat a grizzly.
I mean, come on. Or 8% think you beat a lion?
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe there's 8% that think they could beat a lion. And what is that, 6% grizzly bear?
15% on the king cobra.
An elephant. How the hell are you going to fight an elephant?
I mean, your only hope with the elephant is you get him disoriented. He's big, and if you run like circles, he's just going to get dizzy, and then you can sprint. That's your only hope with an elephant.
Yeah. Or unless it's at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Wow.
And that is trash.
Buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with the friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. 205-815-9200 or mortgageright.com/TNR.
All right. Show being brought to you in part today by our great friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. One more segment to go before we start rolling closer to our coverage out in Phoenix, Arizona of Alabama in the Final Four. This is the next round.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
This hour of the Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Man, that's a bold question. But it's got that irresistible taste to back it up. One thing's for sure. When you've got an irresistible, tasty match like zero sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's too bad you can't taste it with your ears, because this Coke Zero Sugar tastes amazing. Truthfully, it's hard to put into words, and that's my job. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar. Best Coke ever?
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Final segment of the show today being brought to you by our friends at Hemphill. Hemphill Services, getting you ready for the summer temperatures that are coming your way.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Trust that name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Call them. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. HemphillServices.com.
Last year, after they won here in Birmingham, before they went to Louisville, Nate Oats was talking about he wished the NCAA played with just one basketball like the NBA. Nate Oats also talked about how sometimes in games the balls are overinflated and it makes a team like him less successful in shooting threes. There have been complaints by other teams now, including UConn in this tournament, that the reason their percentage is down is because of the balls have been overinflated.
I've seen a TikTok on this, and it is interesting to watch because it's not just one team and it's not just one regional site. But I think there was one regional site where the TikTok was claiming, and this was in the first round, that it was worse than other places. And they were showing guys basically that were committing a carrying violation, didn't necessarily get called because the ball was bouncing
But
so
I
high.
saw multiple carry violations over the first couple of weeks.
Which you almost never see anymore.
And, man, when you play with an overinflated ball, it's a big deal.
And then they were showing one, gosh, I wish I could remember which guard this was, that had a difficult handle, like 2 or 3 straight trips up the floor. And they're like, this guy doesn't turn the ball over at all. And he all of a sudden he can't dribble. Like, what do you think it is? And they are suggesting, Dunaway, that the NCAA is overinflating the ball, at least in that one region, maybe in other places.
20 to 22 ounces is legal. 29.5 to 30 inches is the recommendation. But Nate and some other coaches this year, Nate last year, other coaches this year, are saying the officials don't really check the ball for the proper bounce, they think they should actually gauge it in front of them and supervise it. Obviously, if you're a three-point shooting team, I think you like it maybe a little underinflated, right? Because it's not going to bounce as much off the rim.
I want whatever ball. If I'm Alabama, I want the ball I had in the second half against Clemson. That's the one I want. Whatever the specs were on that one. When I was a kid, I don't know if you guys remember, I think the referee, he would come pick up the game ball, and he would drop it, and he would watch how high it bounced, right? Like if it bounced back up to his waist, it was properly inflated. That was like the test.
Roll one out. It's almost like you take 10 of these balls, you let's just say it's UConn and Bama playing on Saturday, you let the team go through, and they okay the balls they like, and then you have those marked, you give them to UConn. UConn okays them, then you play with the balls both teams okay.
I don't even know how many they go through in a game. Is it just one ball in a game? Do they change it?
I think it's just one ball. I really do.
But, I mean, you've got to have others just in case.
Yeah, you got some backups, but they don't change the ball unless there's like some sort of significant damage to it, I would imagine.
And nobody shoots in the warm-ups or
with the actual game ball,
ball. You know, it's crazy.
It used to sit right behind the possession arrow in high school. That's where the game ball was sitting.
It was crazy. And I don't know if they covered this on the broadcast the other night before Clemson, but you know, they come out and they do the player introductions, the national anthem, and then they go back in the way it was in L.A. And about 4 minutes left in the warm-up period, Clemson comes out on the court. Well, it gets down under a minute. Alabama comes onto the court with 12 seconds left in the clock. And they run to get the balls off the rack. And the official says, no, we're 12 seconds from buzzing and jumping this thing off. And they went, and Sears and Sam put the ball back on there, and they walked over, and somebody else was walking at the ball, and Mark pointed up we came out too late. But I was sitting there like, I put it out. Who was it? Strap. Make it a good one, Strap.
Yeah, make it a good one, Strap.
Make it a good one, Strap from Hoosiers. I was thinking, is somebody in there praying? This is a long time coming out.
And David lifted the stone and put it in his bag. It took them 13 threes to get loose. So in case they wonder how long it'll take if they don't warm up, it took 13 threes.
Yeah, and you can't do that against UConn.
Oh, that game, if they start 1 of 13 like they did against Clemson, what's the score at that point?
They're down 15. Well, no, they're down 20.
More. Yeah.
Was the Illinois game UConn's best of the year? That
No.
30-0 run?
Not in the first half.
Oh, the 30-0 run. Yeah, they were terrible offensively in the first half. But yeah, the 30-0 run.
That was one of you didn't get to see it, Jim, because you were working out there. That was one of the worst shooting halves of basketball I've ever seen by two good teams.
Right.
Illinois couldn't make anything either, Lance. I mean, Illinois missed a massive opportunity because
they did.
UConn probably played their worst half of the NCAA tournament for the last 2 years, and Illinois did nothing with it.
Yeah, it was Clark Kellogg or Kenny Smith said Illinois should be up 10 right now, and I agreed with them. Watching that first half, they should have been up 10, and if they're up 10, I don't think they probably go on a 30-0 run. I think they lose the game still probably, but Illinois was much better than a team that got beaten like that.
Now, second half, UConn, Jim. Second half UConn, yeah, they were the machine you have seen. I mean, a 30-0 run. I'd like to know how many 30-0 runs happened in all of college basketball this year. You think there were?
I've never seen anything like it.
You think there were two?
I think there was. Yeah, it would be if you could count on one hand 100%. Now in women's, there's probably
that's a little bit different. But in the men's game,
specifically like local high school girls basketball, okay, I can see a 30-0 run.
Yeah, you get
Youth
that a lot.
basketball on a Saturday at the local church for the 8-year-olds.
Even a 30-0 run there.
Yeah, it's not a 30-0 run because they rarely score 30, but.
But the Elite Eight, the Elite Eights pull off a 30-0 run. That's just, I don't even know how that's possible.
That was crazy. All right, Bama practicing today in Phoenix, probably a couple of times, and getting back at it. The right cell, you think he plays or he doesn't play?
I think he will play.
You think he'll play, Brownie?
I think he'll play.
Yeah, I think a lot of this comes down, look, you've got to make sure that he's medically cleared, but a lot of this is going to come down to Latrell. And if you're Latrell, you want to play in the Final Four.
Yeah, I think he'll play.
You want him to play if you're.
Put it this way:
player.
if they're like, how many fingers? I'd be like, you tell me.
4.
And they're like,
He's
3, and then I'm like 3.
He's close enough.
You tell me.
He said I was holding one hand up. I thought that was close enough.
Yeah, cleared. All right, here we go, man. One more day until I make the trip out there with Little T. All of our coverage starts Friday, thanks to our friends at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. And again, Total Sports Travel, TotalSportsTravel.com, the website. If you've got a last-minute itch to get out to Phoenix, they've got a package for you. Go check it out, TotalSportsTravel.com, TotalSportsTravel.com. Meltdown at 2, Uncorked, Mailbag, all that stuff is happening on the Uncorked podcast. Bama and Bourbon's about to be recorded. A lot of stuff going on here. Chris Stewart, Respect the Process with Kelly. That's out. Check it all out. Until next time, God bless you. God bless America.